here with my co-host Joe Buckley.
Yep.
And tonight we have Justin Hoff on the show.
Hey.
What's up, man?
Hi, guys.
Dude, thanks so much for coming down here tonight.
Absolutely.
We're ecstatic to have you here to talk some shit with us for a little while.
Sure. Flew back early to be on Attention Deficit.
My mans. So what's been up, man? You just flew back. Where'd you go?
I was in L.A. for 2 weeks.
Nice.
And, yeah, man, it's fucking cold.
That is, yeah, no shit, right? Fuck, you picked a hell of a time to come back.
Have you been out to L.A. before, or is this like a first time
Yeah,
thing?
me and, so Bigelow took me the first time, and all we did was shows. We did like 7 shows in 10 days. We went to L.A., we went to La Jolla, we went to Vegas, we went to, then we split up. I did a show at San Fran on my own. So this time I went for like completely different. I called everybody ahead of time, all these people I knew, and just tried to network my ass off. Yeah. And I want to make sure that if, next time I go there, because doing the shows was great, but then I came back home and it's still people go, he's a funny dude.
Yeah,
and that was,
exactly.
You know what I mean? And that was it. So I wanted people to know who I was. So I feel like this trip was so valuable, and I only did like one show.
What was Vegas comedy like? I feel like that's like
scary.
Borderline, like you're doing
off
comedy and there's people like eating from a buffet, like to like 2 feet to your left.
Yeah, we did it at a place that was on what's that show where the guy just rehabs bars?
Bar Rescue?
Bar
Yeah.
Rescue, that's right.
It was one of the
John Tavern.
Yeah.
There you go.
Dude, I fucking
He's
love
a
that
prick.
guy.
Oh man,
I love him.
We're on
He's a
opposite
prick.
ends on this one. I hate his guts.
He is a prick, yeah.
No, he is a prick, but
I know he's supposed to be. I know it's part of the show.
Yeah,
right,
I
right.
just don't like him.
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, but these
No,
people...
so this was at a bar that they did?
Yeah, they like rehabbed it, and it's called like Drink Here If You Want to Live, and it's a zombie-themed bar.
Oh.
Yeah, and we went in there, and everybody's in all black and stuff. It was scary. I don't think they knew that there was a comedy show gonna happen. But
wait, so the whole theme of the bar is that it's zombies like waiting on you, or do they scare you?
no, this is supposed to be like you run there from the zombies. So it's like a post-apocalyptic bar.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And there's like TVs with just static.
So wait, where do you
and then
start?
I'm in there being like, wow, thanks for having me.
Where do you start that's a thing? Like, they're like, okay, you got to wait here, and then when they come, we all run in here.
Oh, it wasn't even that much of a... it
was
wasn't
like
something
a
that you buy
show.
a ticket to. No, it was just you walk in, everybody's...
Oh, like the world's ending outside, but we're all here.
It's a
Right,
total,
yeah,
it's a total
yeah.
gimmick.
I hope that fails.
Yeah.
No,
I think it did. I think I'm pretty sure
had
it
to
has.
have, right?
Yeah.
I love the name, but I don't
Yeah.
think the zombie theme should be the name though alone. Drink Here If You Want to Live. That's a great name for a bar. But like the
don't know.
zombie thing, I could do without.
Yeah.
I could do without all that.
Right.
But yeah.
But
I
now,
don't
so
know.
what? What was it? No,
I'm glad I asked. I just shit all over it. But no, I was asking it because in my mind I'm thinking of like crummy casino. I got a gig at Vegas,
Right.
but it's going to be like other comedians that are so hack level, like
Yeah.
ahead of you, like
Okay.
Rubber Chicken type shit.
Magicians and
Like that's
stuff,
what
yeah.
I'm thinking of.
No,
Vegas
this
comedy.
was so far off the strip. It was
Okay.
Right.
All right.
I heard there's
Yeah.
actually a pretty decent open mic scene and shit out there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard
Really?
it. Yeah. I've seen it. Like I know a couple dudes. Like I follow on like Twitter and shit randomly. They they're always posting shows and stuff like that, and it looks pretty decent.
But I also think that was the problem of running around being like, all right, we're gonna do as many shows as we can. Is that we weren't in one spot long enough to make an impact.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Quality.
Right. So I was
Yeah.
like, So when I went out this time, I just had the opportunity, and I was like, I'm just gonna buy a ticket. I didn't have any shows booked around here.
Yeah, so you just lone wolf this trip. You went by a solo run.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
my girl came with me for half the trip because
Okay.
she's trying to be.
But no other comics, I mean, though.
No.
Right, okay.
But I met a bunch of comics out there.
So no one who matters.
But no Brian Glowacki this time. Or
No,
just
he
you
was
running,
he's too booked up. He's too busy.
Dude, that's fucking dope, though.
Yeah.
Man. Just fucking head right out and be like, yeah, what's up? I'm here.
Plus, I had
Laugh.
also like pushed all of my shows. Like, I didn't book any shows in December,
Right.
purposefully. And then I was like, well, if I don't go now,
Yeah,
then I just wasted all that money for no reason.
Yeah.
You know?
There you go. Yeah.
But yeah,
That's great, dude.
Yeah, I
incredible, man.
get insanely jealous of people that can just be like, I'm just gonna go to LA.
Right,
I'm just
yeah.
gonna do this.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, you planned it out, but there was one kid like right when I started doing comedy, he was doing it for like 3 weeks,
Right.
and obviously not good. And he's been doing it for 3 weeks,
Right.
and he was like, I'm moving to LA. I'm going to LA, and I was like, oh, well,
dude,
I hate you. Yeah, because he was like, I don't have a girlfriend, I don't know, whatever. I'm like, I don't have any responsibilities. I can do what I want.
I don't know if LA's the best place to start.
That's probably not.
Can I say?
But that's the thing is like, what am I going to tell him? No, I'm like, go for it, dude. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But at the same time, in your head, you're like, you might want to, develop a little. Yeah. But whatever.
Dave Chappelle one time famously was on stage at the store, and he said to everyone in the crowd, he's like all you motherfuckers in the back of the room, talking to the comics, obviously. He's like, who out here who started comedy in Los Angeles? And like a couple people raised their hand.
Yeah.
And he's like, you motherfuckers, that's like learning to dribble in the NBA. You know that? Yeah. He's like, my hat's off to you motherfuckers.
I know, it's crazy.
Dude, that's so true. Like, why? That's just like, we met a kid one night that was telling us, he's like, yeah, I got a YouTube channel. I hit every open mic I can and just throw the video online. And Joe, dude, I was laughing so hard at Joe just trying to keep his composure and not be like, you fucking moron. You know, it was
I think
hilarious.
I said something to the effect of like, wow, that's pretty bold.
Exactly.
He's just like posting the process.
I don't know. I don't know what he's going for, but he's
thinks,
doing it.
I don't know. He thinks it's going to catch on. I don't know. I have no idea, but I would... It's like, yeah, that's bold, man. That's bold.
I think
funny,
I said,
I don't
good
think,
for you.
Hilarious.
I don't think anyone actually knows. Like, we're all trying to figure out the silver bullet. You know what I mean? That like magic thing. That's like, oh, what makes you go to the next level or whatever. And it's not. It's different for everybody. So it's, we might laugh at this one, like, maybe someone has a gimmick or something. We're like, it's so stupid, and then that dude blows up, and we're like, well, we feel pretty stupid now. You know what I mean?
I agree with that. I also think it's funny when people like not just like shit on another comic or something like that, but they get in this weird thing where like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do, and
like there's a track.
There's a track. There is no right way. Period. Like, there isn't. What works for you won't work for me. But when people get upset about a joke or jokes, it's like, dude, that process, man, you had that process. That could be you. Like, it's almost like you're a rat.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're ratting on somebody right now. That could happen to you tomorrow night, dude. You could go up to a mic. People could come up to you and be like, I don't like the way you did that. But you're doing that and you're a comic. I think that kind of makes you, like, not a comic. Or, like, borderline on... Dude, man, maybe you should probably pull back a little bit. Like, I don't understand why you need to feel that way or do that. Because now I sincerely hope you get booed off stage the next time.
My first couple of years in comedy, I didn't, like, I just let everybody know everything. I was like, this is what I'm doing, this is about, and I would share my plans with people and stuff. And then you slowly start to realize that, like, oh, not everybody's on my team. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? No. I'm like, okay. So, I mean, lately, I'm about to make an announcement. We could do it on the show if we want. But I got a couple big things happening right now, but I've been playing it pretty close to the chest. And the reason for that is, like, one, if I'm looking for feedback, if somebody says something and they don't agree with me, it's just going to upset me. You know what I mean? I'm just going to be like, but if I've learned anything, and there's a really good book out there, it's called How to Be Successful and Not Listen to What Other People Think.
I like that.
And that's all it was. It's like sometimes nobody knows what's better for you than you.
I don't think you have to read that book. You just have to read the title.
Yeah, I know. It's actually just it's all blank pages.
Yeah, it's okay. That's what you need to know.
But keep going with that thought though.
So
this is interesting to me.
Yeah. So because I would start to go to shows and stuff, and people would sometimes sincerely be like, "Well, how you doing? Like, what's going on?" And they'd want to know. Part of it is they just want to know because they want to make sure that you're not doing better than they're doing. You know?
Right.
And I just got tired of all that. And you go online and it's just this. You go to that page.
Yeah.
You ever go to that page?
Mm-hmm.
God.
That page that shall not be named.
Yeah.
Right.
God, just people. And as many people are in there, shitting on each other. There's like 100 people just reading all the comments.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? They never say anything, but they're reading everything. You know.
Absolutely.
But yeah, and it was a much different experience when I was in LA. The first day I got there, I called up Stevie Blue and I was like, "Hey, I'm in town."
Oh, I forgot about that guy.
Dude,
how's he doing?
He's amazing, man. He's just talk about nothing gets to him,
Yeah,
not a thing.
He talks about it on stage, not to blow up his spot, but when you serve federal time, I don't think too much gets to you after that.
Yeah, like fucking cancer at 16 beat it.
Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot all about that.
Then he goes on vacation. You know what I mean?
Right.
In federal prison.
Exactly.
And then so now he's out and he's national touring comedian.
Dude,
what?
And so what'd you guys do when you hit him up?
So I called him up and I was like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Oh, what did we do the first night? I think it was him. Oh, Callan had a show. They were doing a live Fighter and the Kid.
Okay.
In the main room at the store.
Okay.
So I dropped Callan's name. They let us in for free. They pulled me and my girlfriend in, sat down.
Sick.
Awesome show. Brendan was there too. And then afterwards, Callan's like, "Oh, dude," he's like, I didn't realize you were coming to LA. And I was like, "Yeah, I didn't tell anybody." He's like, "Okay, well," he's like, "Come on, we're going to go to Laurel Hardware." So he takes everybody. We go to Laurel Hardware. Brendan's there. Chris D'Elia shows up, and we're all just sitting at a table.
I love D'Elia.
And they order so much food, like more food, and I'm like starting to look at my girlfriend like, "Oh, I can't really afford any." You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna be able to afford any of this stuff. But Callan's like genuinely asking. He's like, "So what's your plan? What do you want to do?" Like, and like he's like, it just seems like just everybody was so nice. D'Elia buys drinks, ends up buying everybody's drinks and everyone's food. Like, doesn't know me, doesn't know my girlfriend, but just pays for everything. And then he's like, whenever, everybody was just so cool. And then we went back to the store after that to see who was on, and I ran into Santino. You guys know Andrew Santino?
The redhead.
Yeah. So he's
wait a minute, I do know who he is.
He's on I'm Dying Up Here.
He's on I'm Dying Up Here.
Yes, I know he is.
Then he just came out with a Showtime special.
Bill Burr loves that dude, and Rogan. They both love that guy.
Yeah, he was on Rogan and Friends on Ice House, which we went to too. But so he saw me, and I was like, I waved to him, and he ran over, and he was like, why didn't you text me? Because I saw him when I was out here at Laugh Boston. I was like, dude, I felt weird. Like, he goes, no, dude. He's like, I gave you my number. You should have texted me.
He came to Laugh?
Yeah, he was at Laugh for 2 nights, and I
did not know that.
I went both nights, and I ended up talking to him for a while there, and I told him, I was like, hey, if I'm ever in LA, and he was like, yeah, sure. But it's just, I guess I'm trying to paint a picture. Like, I didn't text him because I was worried that he would give me his number and not want me to text him, because that's a very Boston thing to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I get out there, and he's like, no, idiot, why would I give you my number if I didn't want you to text me? And I was like, okay, cool. So then I ended up hanging out with him almost like he was so cool, dude. I hung out with him like every single night. So the second, that was all like within the first couple of days I was there. And then I ended up meeting him at the store. He's doing a show in the Belly Room. He goes, you want to come backstage? I'm like, no, I can't. You know what I mean? I'm like, he says, no.
That's one of those, you deny it at first. You go like, no, I can't. I couldn't put, and says, okay. Yeah, like,
well, can you imagine, like, this is the Comedy Store, right? This is backstage at the main room.
Absolutely.
I was like, can we even do this? You know, like, and he's like, no, and he's like driving me back or whatever. He pulls me backstage. They get their own change room, their own bar back there. Adam Devine's chilling on the couch or whatever, so I meet him, and I'm like, hey, what's up? I'm Justin. And Santino's just bringing me around, introducing me to everybody. So chill, like genuinely, like trying to help me out, anything I can do. And he doesn't know me from a hole in the wall.
The opposite of any interaction with any Boston comedian.
And then there's dudes that I've known here forever who are just like, I don't know if I can get you up tonight.
Who would step on your neck if they could.
Oh, if they had an opportunity.
100%.
Yeah, but I'm gonna, and I thought and it was so serendipitous. So I'm gonna make an announcement. But my app is finally done. It's been 3 years.
Now, what's that, Green Room?
Green Room app,
okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry to steal that from you, by the way. But you told me about that a long time ago, yeah.
Yeah, when I first had the idea, and then I was just floating it around, and then I had to, I was developing it for years in India, and that fell through. I wasted $10,000 trying to develop it there. I came back, found new developers here. They're amazing. So we spent another year fixing all of that stuff, and it's finally ready to launch.
I think you sent me a beta version of that.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I remember that after the first time we had you on.
Yeah.
You talked about it. And if I remember correctly, I think you mentioned it. I was like, you're not smart enough to pull that off. I think I said something like that. I was like, shut up, that's not real. Yeah. And I thought you were messing with us. Yeah. And then you're like, no, really. I'm like, oh shit. I was like, now I feel like a dick.
Right. But, and so what's the function of the app? It's to connect bookers to comics.
So it's supposed to be like a one-stop shop. So venues, comedians, fans, ticket sales, everything. You can go on this.
Dope.
It'll show you, it's geo-mapped for your location. It'll show you every open mic, every improv show, every pro show, everything. And you can click on that and buy tickets. But in the back end, there's tons of tools for venues and comedians. It'll automatically update your calendar. It'll build interactive flyers. It'll do all of the stuff that you don't have to do on your own anymore. So that's fine.
It's having a manager on your phone.
Right. It's having a manager and an agent. Yeah. That's an admin. All of that stuff.
That's unreal, dude. That is unreal.
So that's coming out. And
now, can we? Do you have a launch date you can tell us or no?
The only reason I'm not is because of the holidays right now.
Okay.
My developer's in North Carolina.
I'm
just for right now.
Just being nosy. That's all.
But no. So but we're gonna do the beta testing probably like the first week in January.
And you're gonna hook up attention deficit.
Oh yeah,
with that,
of course.
Awesome.
Yeah. Give you guys codes. Everyone can try it out.
That would be unreal.
We'll give discounts and everything. And so you'll be able to sell tickets off of it. You'll be able to promote it. Everybody so every comedian will have their own free website with a calendar and all the stuff that you don't have to pay for, that you don't have to update, you don't have to manage, and that's one less thing that you have to do. You can just write jokes and do comedy.
Right. Now, is this going to be? Is this going to cost like $1? Is it going to be like a free app? Like, what are you looking at?
It's going to be free to use.
Okay.
There's going to be the regular processing fees when people buy tickets, just like if you went through LiveStub or
Eventbrite, right, sure.
And then we also allow venues to pay comedians through the app.
Okay.
So if you're running a bar show and you want to pay everyone, you can pay people through Green Room.
Yeah.
It costs us to transfer money, so there will be a little cost there to transfer money too. But for the most part, all of the services to find shows, to put yourself on there, to build a profile, to have your schedule, those are all free.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So
you can do all of that for free, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm launching that, and while I was in LA, I was showing my apartment. I was having my realtor show my apartment downstairs because I was trying to rent it, and this dude came in and just made me this outlandish offer for my house. And I was like, no.
Wait, for the whole house, not
the
just
whole house,
not the one unit.
No, he liked it, and he's wanted my house. And I was like, no way. And he's like, well, what? He goes, what would you have to do to sell right now? And I was just like, you know what, dude? Like, fucking
throw it out there.
Yeah, I was like, dude,
that's what you do, man. That's what you're supposed to do.
I was like, I don't know, like maybe like 800,000. You know what I mean? I was like, like something ridiculous.
Hypothetical.
Yeah. And he's like, fine. And I was like, what?
First offer, he just said, okay.
He goes, okay. And I was like, who? And I was like, no way, he's serious. Then I get a call while I was actually at the Ice House at Rogan's show.
Don't tell me you're leaving us, dude.
He had Tony Hinchcliffe. He had Santino. He had him. He had Rogan. But so.
Sell out, develops an app. Develops an app. Moving to California now. What are you doing, dude? Get out of here with this shit.
Justin Hoff, that hack. I've heard of him. He did the show a couple times.
Jesus Christ, wearing his hat backwards and his goddamn jacket.
Jesus.
I made Kyle Plouffe take me to Target to get this jacket when I got to LA.
No shit.
Because everybody was wearing them. Mm-hmm. Every single person had
the
one
bomber
of these
jacket.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, dude, you have to. He was wearing one too, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Where'd you get that shit? Yeah, that's awesome.
Where'd you get that jacket? One of the best lines in any movie ever. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Where'd you get that jacket?
He goes, where'd you get that jacket?
No, I don't know. I do
Fast
not know.
Times at Ridgemont High with Spicoli.
No,
he's in his little. All right, besides the point, go with your original story.
Yeah.
Anyways, long story short, so I accept the offer. We do the purchase and sale. It's under agreement. I'm selling my house. I'm taking all that money, and I'm moving to LA.
You're moving to Los Angeles.
You son of a
God
bitch.
damn it.
So, that's it. I'm out of here.
See, every hair on the back of my neck is standing up right now because I'm like, damn, I'm so happy and yet so sad at the same time.
You tingling?
That is, I really am. So when's the? This is funny actually because I want to tell a story after this. Okay. When's the move date?
So I have to be out of my house by January 20th, and I have a couple places I'm looking at out there, but I'm guessing probably by February.
Right.
February 1st, maybe.
Right. Wow.
You know,
wow. So this is a very exciting time in your life.
Yeah, I mean,
you must be.
I did have a panic attack when I was in LA.
Really?
Everything. Yeah.
What prompted that? Yeah. What prompted that? Like,
well, all right,
this whole moving situation.
Well, yeah. Like, so December 4th, that's the anniversary of my dad's death, and I always get a little weird.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
You know, again.
So that was the day I flew out to LA. So I didn't really process it or anything. I was just on the flight. Then I get out there. I was hanging out with Andrew almost every single night. My girl knows some people out there. We were hanging with them. I was hanging with Brian Callen, Stevie. I didn't have time to just like process anything.
Right, decompress a little.
Right, so I'm selling my house every 2 o'clock, 11 o'clock LA time, 2 o'clock here. I'm having web conferences with my developers because we're trying to launch the app and all this stuff. And then finally, it's my last day there, and I'm at the Standard with Santino and Rydoon. Do you guys know Rydoon?
I do, actually. Yes. Yeah, I do.
So I'm with Santino, Rydoon, my girlfriend's friend Carolina, and just me, and we're sitting there or whatever. And someone says something like, we're talking about flying home, and Santino goes like, oh, well, if the plane crashed, like, what's the two words that you would say or whatever? And I'm just like,
wow.
I'm just like fucking shaking.
That's a real comic.
Yeah.
That's a real comic thing to say to somebody. You know?
No, and they're all doing funny things. Like,
right, no,
like
right,
someone's
right.
like, oh, I would say like, of course, or someone else would be like, figures. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, and I'm like, they're like, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't know. I was like, how about something real? How about like, I'm sorry? And they're like, what? I'm like, how about like, right? And I just I just
killed the room.
Yeah, and I'm just like, you know. And then Santino goes, okay, dude, like. I go, everyone's fucking, it's funny all the time, right? Fucking, like,
how about I'm gay?
Yeah. I like men. Oh, that's 3. Yeah, so I was just, I just started in, meanwhile, Craig Robinson is in the booth next to us singing, like, as loud as he can. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he really does that type of shit.
Yeah, he really, yeah.
Like that hot tub time machine shit. Like he'll really bust out a keyboard and a mic and kill it.
He was singing, and everyone else was laughing. He's like telling people to be quiet so that he could sing in the booth next to us. And
I'm
sitting there freaking out, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I'm like shaking and stuff. And
that's funny.
Yeah,
dude.
so I started to have a panic attack, and I didn't know what it was. I thought I was having a heart attack, and I was like, all right, we got to get out of here.
Have you ever had one before? Like a
I have, but it was like, I get them sometimes, but it was just weird because everything was chill, and then I just started to freak out. And then I remember texting him the next day, and I was like, dude, sorry that I like got drunk and freaked out and stuff like that. And he was like, dude, no, he's like,
you were drunk when you had a panic attack? Isn't that like impossible?
That's gonna be
I guess.
You must have a ton of anxiety for that.
You probably weren't hammered though, right? You know, you probably
there's a 2-drink minimum. So
right,
had
a couple of drinks.
I mean, like usually when you're drunk, you're like,
no, that can.
Well, I also didn't know what to say to him. Like, so I used that drunk as an excuse. I didn't want to be like, hey, dude, I'm fucking freaked out.
True. Yeah, true.
So,
you had to hang it on something,
right?
Of course.
And he was super cool about it too. He's like, nah, just hit me up when you get back out here. So, but yeah, it was.
Now he's like, I hope that kid loses my.
Yeah, he's like, Jesus, what a weirdo.
Changing that shit.
That coward.
No, mental illness.
I thought you were going to. I thought you were going to have this episode on stage. Was where that story was going. That I was like, holy fuck.
That would have been terrible.
That would have been
because
crazy,
that was just the beginning of it. So we go back to Rydoon's house, and I passed out like while I was like fell on the floor, and he was like, all right, you need to go home. So then my girlfriend's friend Carolina got me in an Uber. I went back to Kyle Blues, and it's like 3:00 in the morning. He has to fly out the next day. Or maybe it was like 4. I think it was like 4:00 in the morning. And he had to come let me into his apartment, and I was like stuttering and shaking.
Yeah.
He's like, "Dude, what's wrong with you?" And I was like, "What's wrong with me?"
Like,
and he's
nothing. It's just really
crying
cold
like a 7-year-old fell off his bike.
Yeah, and he's like picking me up the seat to like carry me baby style into the just put me down. But yeah, but besides everything leading up to that, fantastic.
So everything's great. Everything's good.
Right.
Everything's good.
Yeah. So, hey, maybe that's what it was. You.
I think what happened was I was taking these new drugs, these mood stabilizers, and they were working really well. And then while I was traveling, they said don't use different deodorant, because you could get a rash, and we don't know if it's the pills or that's one of the side effects.
Yeah.
So I started to get this redness on my side.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, I'll stop taking the pills.
Right.
And I think that's what happened. I abruptly stopped taking the pills, and then like,
that could do
had a fucking
just bottomed
panic
out on
attack.
you. Right.
What were we talking about?
But
anyways, I'm moving to LA.
Right.
So.
I don't know what the fuck we were talking about, but I do remember this. I want to tell this story after your announcement there.
Oh, that is my announcement.
No, that's
okay. App's coming out, moving to LA.
Okay, that's dope. Congratulations on both of those.
Thank you.
Now here's, I almost don't want to tell this fucking story, but I have to because I just want to. I don't know. I'm a good judge of character. That's what I'm saying here. Okay. Now I had Again, I wouldn't usually tell you this story, dude, because it's gonna bring you down after what you just told us. But
I don't know how it could possibly.
But don't have a panic attack.
No.
What they say?
For real though. I had an interaction the other night when I was telling some people about you coming on the show. Okay, and I typically would never do this. I don't want to start any shit. I like you, and I don't want you to have the wrong perception of me. But
Jesus, what are you gonna say?
I do. I'm just saying. I would never typically do this. I would let this roll right off my back and never bring it up again. But I have to tell you this just in light of what you just told me. I was telling some people about the show, and they were kind of getting a little shitty about it. Like oh, how's the show going? Like
disingenuous,
right? They don't like me, so they just want, they kind of wanted to mess with me a little bit while
do you want this one?
Yeah, sure. That's a fresh one. So they were fucking with me a little bit. I'd had some adult beverages, right? And so they're like, yeah. So how's the show going? Da da da. And I'm like, oh, it's going really well. We're having a great time in the new place. We got Justin Hoff on Wednesday, and yada yada yada. And then someone said something, not shitty at all, and then what I said back was, yeah, like, I'm real excited to have him on. I think he'll probably be like one of the next big things to come out of Boston, right? I swear to God I said that, I'm not kissing your ass. Okay? And so they literally did that, like, Def Jam, like, walk away laugh, like...
With, like, the slow clap?
Like, not even just like the...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit!
Right, and just they all just erupted and just turned and walked away from me in separate directions, and I was baffled, I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, you guys, you're taking issue with what Justin Hoff does on stage now? Like, you group of nobodies, and that's why and these are people that I don't dislike them, but I really dislike what the fuck they their opinion on this is, at least. But
yeah, everybody's entitled to their opinion, right? And I think one of the reasons why I've been playing all of this stuff so close to the chest is because you share this information, and even people who are close to you in Boston comedy, they want you to do well, but there's also a part of them that doesn't want you to do better than they're doing. You know what I mean? So instead of telling everybody, like, oh, because there's only so much feedback you can get. If I'm like, hey, I'm going to move to L.A., some people would be like, great, do it. Other people would be like, you're not good enough. You know what I mean? And I think you can't listen to...
Oh, no, dude. Clearly you can't, because if you were listening to some of your alleged peers, right, according to them, you're laughable. It's on some level. And I'm like, dude, you clearly have no idea what you're talking about. Well,
that's because I'm not really doing anything in Boston. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not one of the big names in Boston. I'm not like, I don't go to the mics. I'm not doing these charity shows. And like, I'm not doing all of these shows with everybody else who are considered like, there's people who are considered like, these are the big names in Boston and stuff. And then...
But Boston is a comedy island now. It's not what it once was. You know what I mean? So, like...
I think it's a good launch pad. I think it's a good place to, to start from.
I don't know.
But, whether... I don't know. Would it be nice if everyone was like, yeah, he's great? That'd be nice.
That's not a world anyone lives in.
It would be realistic.
It would be. It'd be awesome. I agree with it. It'd be incredible. I think one of the weird things, like, I think, like, as far as if you're a comedian or like anything in life, as far as competition goes, in anything, I am massively competitive. I am competitive. That's one of the things that I say about myself is, like, I'm too competitive.
Yep.
Like, with a lot of shit.
You and I both, yeah.
Way too competitive. With anything, I don't care what it is, I want to win at it all.
Right.
And doing this was one of the weirdest things that I've ever started doing, because I was like, how do you say, what did I win anything?
Right.
Because it really isn't. It's a bizarre feeling. And then somehow, I think those, like, those energies get channeled into, like, resenting someone or doing something like that, and sometimes you actually get caught up in that stuff. Like, any one of us can be like, I've never done that, and you'd be lying.
Yep.
Because I think there's always some part of you that's like, man, I feel like I could have done that, or I feel whatever. That does happen. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen, but then eventually you mature enough where you're like, it don't matter.
Right.
It's just another reason to get out of here, man. Like, I'm never... A lot of the people that have been doing comedy for, like, let's say 10 to 12 years, they saw me when I started. So they have,
in their minds,
they're like, oh, you think Justin's the next big thing? You know what I mean? Like, so, but
that's a good point, actually.
It's a great point, and that's a weird
to say that too. The one that someone was talking shit about, and you're like, well, in his defense,
if I had a nickel for every time
I said it's this strange thing where, like, it's waves of new comics, right? Mm-hmm. Always, and the people that you start with, like, obviously we didn't start at the same time, and like, but if I started at the same time like Corbett did, or I started at the same time as other people, you stay with those people, and then the people before you, like, who's really funny? Like, I think Joe and James are really funny. I'm like, we're not funny. Because in your own mind, you're like, what? No, like, I don't have this, or I'm not whatever.
Right.
In our minds, people before us are pretty funny, and at their level, they're probably like, this dude's never going to be funny.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's a weird little, like, system where, like, everybody's feeling like they're ahead of somebody, but when someone is ahead of you, and they say something that, like, maybe, like, comes back to you, like that you're funny, that feels great. And when they think they're not, and it gets back to you,
and I also think,
like, again, hey, what do you mean they don't think I'm funny?
I don't know.
What do you mean, like, or if they said that, it hurts.
It's as
much as it feels good on one end, it can hurt just as much.
Motherfucker.
But then that's when you got to realize, wait, do I like what I'm doing? then I don't care.
Right.
And I don't know who you were talking to specifically, but I think...
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you, you know...
No, I'm not asking you.
No, I'm saying even off air, dude, I'm not going to start that shit up. I'm just... I only told you that because of what you... So, like...
It was too...
honestly, the timing could not have been more perfect.
Yeah,
like,
right, yeah.
This literally happened Monday, 48 hours ago. I had this conversation. You know what I mean? So,
but whoever...
Anyway. Yeah.
But whoever it is, they probably don't... I'm not out at the shows. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing the local shows and stuff like that. So, I wouldn't blame them if they work... Like, if they didn't think that was a possibility. All I can do is, you know...
Control you.
Yeah, and do the best that I can do. And then hopefully, you know what I mean? I'm trying to hit it from every angle I can. And, you know, but hopefully, I mean, you know, that was my very mature way of handling it. Now, I hope that they see me on TV and they go, fuck. You know?
So do I, dude. You know?
That's it. You know what's funny is
because I'll be like, look, motherfucker, I told you.
Right. Because, see, that's a good feeling. And I think we had this conversation one of the last times we were talking about. I think it might have been the first time we did the podcast. It was like...
What, with him, you mean, specifically?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I think...
I don't know
if it was on air, but
that was a coach
it was like just shooting the shit, I think. And it was like, yeah, now, like, if a comedian has a good bit, instead of being like, that's a good bit, I'm like... Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, I hate you for coming up with that shit, and I didn't come up with it. I feel like, oh, like you resent them in some weird sort of way because they wrote something. That's the initial feeling you have. And then later you're like, but that is a good bit. But in your head at first you're like, damn it.
Like, motherfucker.
But that's the type of thing where, like, if someone saw you on TV, you'd be like, son of a bitch.
Right, yeah.
But you know what? Whatever.
That I think will always be a thing until you have, like, a TV credit. But, like, that conversation we had, that was 2 years ago now. So, like, now I don't feel that same way. Now I'm like, yo, that's fucking good. You know, even if they bomb for 4 straight minutes and then they close,
which is hilarious.
Which in itself is funny, but and then they close on something strong. I'll exploit that. I'm like, that last thing that you fucking did right there. That's a great, you know, you could turn that into a chunk. I feel like of something, you know, like I don't know, but
dude, I don't know. I mean, I was not there for that long, but it just I was at the store or I was at some kind of comedy club every single night for 14 days, and I was always with someone who's doing it. And I was either with Callan or I was with Rogan or Santino.
Hey, I need a pen and paper so I can write down how many names you've dropped.
Wow. I just want them to know. I want everyone to know what's up.
The boner that I have right now can only be
Let me call them right
ferocious.
now. Let me just call them and get them on.
Do you really have? Can you just text them to prove it?
Yeah. Bring my number out. But there's so much more camaraderie, and they sit there and they watch each other and they'll be like, "Oh, this dude's so fun." Like Theo Von, I didn't know how funny he was,
dude.
Is he the kid from Boy Meets World?
He's from the Real World.
What?
Or Road Rules? What's he from?
I'm not sure. Yeah, one of those.
He looks like Minkus from Boy Meets World.
No, you're not thinking of the right dude.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I know exactly who he is.
That's not him, dude.
I know who he is.
Oh, okay.
I know who Theo Von is. But
and
in my head, when I saw his face, I'm like, the kid from Minkus is a comedian now? That's the first thing.
I don't think he looks anything like that.
That kid Minkus?
Dude. Yes, he does.
No, I can see him being a grown Minkus. I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, he's a grown Minkus.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm going, I think he looks like that kid.
I can see
and I'm going, dude, no way. That's so wild that someone like that can get into comedy and use it. He does look like him.
He is so uproariously funny. It kills me, dude.
Funny.
See, I have no idea.
He said this thing on...
Wait, now they have Minkus now? And if Theo Von pops up, I'm going to laugh my ass off. But he's probably like 400 pounds or something like that.
No. He's a dude.
Okay,
he's a tiny
dude. Wait a minute, because you guys both know who Theo Von what he looks like.
I agree with you. I can see
that. Don't look like Theo Von. That's a grown-up Minkus.
I can see it.
Yes, it does.
I can see it.
I guess because I already knew who he was from like Real
World. You've seen him in person and shit a bunch of times.
But I never have.
Yeah, I never have. No, I never have either. I've never seen the guy in person. But dude, he said this thing one time on Fighter and the Kid. They were talking about jerking off in the morning, and Shav and Callan are going back and forth about it, and Theo's not saying anything, and they're looking at him, and they're like, Theo, like, what's up, man? Like, he's like, we talking about jerking off in the morning. He's like, if you're jerking off in the morning, you better be in prison because that's criminal. And I don't. It's like, dude, what does that even mean, dude? He just,
especially with his accent,
dude,
too.
Dude. Oh, he just says just random funny ass shit like that fucking kills me.
He's super funny, man. I saw him do 45 minutes at the store with like a migraine. Like,
for the record, I think that's a great way to start your day. It's probably one of the better ways.
That's what I'm. It's like, dude, you are swimming against the tide with that one. Like, well, what are you talking about?
I don't have the energy to do that.
Oh, really?
See, the more it's like it's one of those weird scenarios
morning. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't have the energy to face my day without doing it. I am a violent human being.
We said we weren't going to talk about jerking off, too. We said it right out there.
Did we?
Yeah, no.
I broke up with a lady recently, and I'm backed up, man. You know, I gotta unload somewhere. Anywho.
In the morning.
Well, yeah, right, yeah. Well,
anyways, my point was, and like everybody was.
Stop getting serious on it. We're talking about jerking off.
I was so surprised at how cool, chill, and nice every single person was that I met.
That's so encouraging.
I didn't meet a single dick while I was out there.
Right.
And in L.A.
In L.A.
And that's hard to do. I mean,
but those are the people. Those are the people. Those are the people who are doing it, right? But then there were some people who were like, who would come, like, especially when we were at Laurel Hardware, and I understand where this kid's coming from because you see a bunch of people that you see on TV, and like me and my girlfriend Erin were kind of starstruck anyway. So we're just sitting there eating our like duck fried rice and drink, you know what I mean, and just letting like
it's Joe Rogan.
Yeah, we're just letting like Dalia and Callan run the show. And then randomly, this kid comes over to the table and he's like, "Hey, my date left for the bathroom. Should I drink her drink?" And Dalia's like, "I don't give a fuck." You know what I mean? Like he's like, "I don't care." But I know in his head he's like, "I might never see them again." You know what I mean? And like so, so he feels like I gotta just fucking talk to him or whatever. And I felt so bad for him because I looked at him and like I saw him come to the table and I kind of did like the silent shaking my head. I was like, "Don't do it. You're gonna regret it." You know? And then
that's trying to help him out genuinely, you know.
And then he got super weird. And then there was another night that we were walking past this place called Saddle Ranch, which is I don't know if
I have heard about that.
Yeah,
that's like the big tourist like trap.
Yeah, it's like a huge and it's probably like I don't know 100 feet from the store. So
exactly. Yeah.
Santino just bought this brand new fucking Mercedes sports car. It's beautiful and
TV money.
Yeah, dude, I know. He's like,
fuck yeah.
That was his one thing. He doesn't buy that.
I'm not mad if that was his third thing.
Right. So
you know, good for him.
But he doesn't want to. He doesn't bring it to the store because that parking lot. He doesn't want it to get all smashed up.
I would keep a hoopty just to be like, I'm not rubbing this in anyone's face.
Exactly.
Dude, you know what I
mean? So he can walk right from his place in West Hollywood. So he usually walks down to the store. So he was walking home and he's like, "Oh, I'll walk you guys past the Saddle Ranch," and then someone noticed him. And he was so cool and stuff like that. But again, it's just like, I don't know what comes over people. This dude is like, I'm never going to get this chance again. And kind of like threw his arms around him and kind of like grabbed him. Yeah. And then we all had to kind of like rip him off of him. And like, it was just so. Because people don't know how to act.
It's a person. It's a guy. He's a regular guy.
On the one level, though, that's got to be cool to get recognized just walking down Sunset.
On some level, it must be.
I saw you on TV. You know?
Yeah. Well, you're talking about being nice. It reminds me, I remember watching this and thinking that is like above and beyond. But there was an episode of Punk'd with Dirk Nowitzki. For anybody who doesn't know, Dirk Nowitzki is like one of the best basketball players.
Right, you know, giant white man.
Yeah. Best German basketball player of all time.
Was he German?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Nowitzki's a Polish name. Anyway.
He's German.
Yeah.
Anywho. They had this episode where like he's at a restaurant or something, and this kid comes up and asks for his autograph, and he has like 7 things for him to autograph at a restaurant, like a card, a basketball, like all this shit, but it's all like Dallas Mavericks shit.
Right.
And Dirk signs it all. He's with Michael Finley. I remember Michael Finley, also a great basketball player in his own right, very underrated.
I remember him as well.
And somebody else on the team, you know, some schmuck. So
he was literally in Dirk's shadow.
Right. So he signs all the shit. Kid leaves, comes back with more shit, and this time he comes back with like a bin of stuff. Right. Dirk signs it all, dude. He signs every piece that he's got. I think they ran out of stuff. Then he comes back with like a bowling ball,
just random,
a bowling ball, a Cavaliers hat, a LeBron James just a bunch of. Dirk signs all of it again. Michael Finley finally goes, "Dude, you might be the nicest guy in the NBA. What are you doing?" He goes, "He's a kid, man." And the best part about that was, it's a Punk'd episode. He does not know his camera's on him.
He
doesn't know his camera's on him.
No idea.
And he goes, "What were you supposed to do?" He goes, "You say no." He goes, "You say no, Dirk. Like, you can't just do this." He goes, "He had a fucking Cavaliers." He goes, "Cavaliers."
He had a bowling ball.
He goes, "You signed another team's hat."
No, but then genuinely, it's like, dude, someone's probably making money off that.
Right.
What are you doing?
So then he comes back. The kid comes back again with a hockey stick and just random stuff.
That's great.
All like a rubber chicken, just absurd stuff.
That's great.
So Dirk finally goes, "I'm sorry, bud. You know, I already signed like a lot of your stuff, and you know, blah blah blah." And he goes, "I hate you. You're the worst player in the NBA." And he cries and runs away. So then Dirk like this, he just feels like a sack of crap. And then they have like, you know, this kid kid, like this, like pretend mom come up.
Right.
It's like, you told my son you were not. He goes, he's like freaking out at that point. He goes, I signed all this stuff, and they told him. But that moment where it was like, dude, like you gotta be nice, but like even though he was a kid, obviously, not an adult, but when he was a kid, like
well, this was a grown drunk man that attacked Santino.
Yeah, but that's the type of stuff you gotta deal with. Like Rampage Jackson, my favorite MMA fighter of all time.
I love that fucking
talks
guy.
about, he goes, dude, honest to God, he goes, if I knew how many pictures I had to take with dudes, I never would have gotten into fighting. He goes, I take pictures with so many men. He goes, I can't do it anymore. He's like, I know it's like a thing and you got to do it or whatever because they're fans. He goes, but good God, he goes, I would have done something else. He goes, honestly, if he goes, had I known, he goes, I would have quit fighting. He goes, I would have done something. He goes, I would have found something else to do because I take so many pictures with guys, it's absurd.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fucking great.
That's nuts.
Yeah, that's that.
And like you said, part of you early on, I bet, loves it
because it's brand. That's
but
what I'm saying.
Right now,
it's brand new to him. He will come to hate that. Don't get me wrong. But right now, he's like, dude, like I'm doing my thing. Like comedy afforded me this interaction right now. Me walking down some street in Los Angeles.
I think there's a level of like accessibility that people respect. Like if he walks down
he's in
the
a sea of
street,
famous people, which is something you have to remember too.
Yeah.
It's not just like him hanging out in Boston or Chicago, right? You know what I mean? Like he's like every single night on Sunset, there's a bunch of famous people who are on TV.
I think there's a level of fame where it's just like it's just above and beyond. But I also think there's a level of fame where like you probably make it worse when you have security and you have like an entourage and you
just
do
put
all
a hat
that
on
stuff.
and you go grocery
shopping. But I feel like if you just were literally like, hey, I'm a man of the people, and it's almost like, hey, he is a normal guy. But if you make yourself not look like a normal person or like a celebrity, then they're going to be more apt to like fuck with you or just be odd in some sort of way because the interaction is going to be different.
I know I haven't been doing it that long, but in all the people I've met, Santino's one of the coolest people I've ever met and had no reason to help me out. Right. We're not from the same town. We weren't on the same show.
So you know what's funny is you were saying like how everyone was really cool and no one was a douchebag, and it was one of those things where like but then again I didn't meet anybody in the scene because they're not chasing the same nut you are. Like I mean, like if you said like he has no reason to help you and he was cool, that's awesome. But I'm wondering like what it's like with like, because we say the way it is in Boston to a certain extent, is it like that in LA with the same people that are at the same level, or do you genuinely feel like it's probably a different vibe altogether?
They all kind of gave me the same spiel, and it was, because I asked everyone the same question when I was talking to Theo or Andrew or Brian Callen. Brian Callen took me to the set of the Goldbergs, got me into
that's cool.
That
is dope.
And
I mean, I don't watch that show, but that's
cool. But like because I told him I was like I want to get into writing and stuff. He's like, I'll get you on the set. So he brought me. I like fucking calling. I couldn't figure out how to get in. They had to send someone with a fucking golf cart. Like I was so embarrassed. And then they finally get me in. And then who's the chick that was Sabrina the Teenage Witch? I forget her name.
Oh, Melissa Joan Hart.
Yeah, so Melissa Joan Hart was.
Corbin was like, this morning, Melissa Joan Hart.
Yeah, that brings me back. So
breakfast.
Melissa Joan Hart's directing the episode.
No kidding.
And then he brings me over. He's like, he goes, you know. I was like, yeah.
I love little tidbits like that. What do you mean she directed an episode?
She's directing that episode. So he goes, come meet my friend Melissa Joan Hart. So I'm meeting her or whatever. He's like, come meet.
Were you like, hey, Clarissa?
Yeah. He's like, come talk to
I am so jealous. Clarissa, explain. You met Clarissa.
I met Clarissa, and she gave me some cookies. Someone had brought cookies in, and she was like, "Do you want a cookie?"
Wow.
But I'm sitting there.
Was it a weed cookie? Is that the Panic Attack day?
No, this was like early on in the trip that I went on. But we're sitting there, and Lou Snyder was there. He was one of the head writers of Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yep.
I told him, I was like, what do I got to do? He's like, tell you what. He's like, take this class at UCLA. You can submit your specs and your writing and all. Like,
can you do it online?
No,
it doesn't matter. What's it matter? Yeah, you're gonna live there soon anyway.
I'm gonna be there.
What's it even matter?
But like and then so Lou's helping me out because Brian introduced him, and Brian's helping me out because Stevie introduced me, and Stevie, you know what I mean? And it's just everyone's being so cool, and I'm just like,
that is dope.
That's why when I got the call and they were like, hey, they offered you this much for the house, I said, fuck it.
You're like, let's get the fuck up out.
Now, again, I don't know if it's the novelty of this kid's from Boston, he's not out here all the time, so let's show him a good time.
Right.
But I
gives a shit.
Right, no, but I got the feeling like it just that this doesn't happen for everybody. You know what I mean? That like he doesn't just bring people on set and stuff. So
probably because you're a fucking, you're a warm, you're a, I don't know, you're a.
Well, that's what like one of the we were hanging out one night, and there's like a bar behind. There's like a separate bar after the store shuts down where like the comics can go.
Right.
So we're all hanging out in this comic bar, and then I remember someone just being like, "You're a good dude," and I'm like, "These guys don't really even know me." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but maybe everybody's just so dickish that they're like, "Wow."
You can sniff it out pretty quick.
Oh, he's happy to be here.
You know,
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, he doesn't want
Oh, I
anything.
needed this.
Yeah.
This is what I used to do.
That's what you get. That's what you get to say when you go out there. You're like, dude, I loved it so much here. You guys were so good to me. I had to move out here. Yeah, I already
told them that I was moving out and stuff, and they were like, "All right, we'll see you. Like, when you coming back?" Like,
right.
So no, they were just cool.
That's
and like,
unreal.
Not
dude.
one time did I ask anyone to pose for a picture. Not one time did I say, "Can you get me on a show?"
Right.
You know,
I've never believed in that. Not the whole the show thing. Like, but like,
dude, if I say
as a picture goes, I've always felt like it's way better to just meet somebody and be like, dude, I met that person. I shook their hand. I had a little bit of a conversation with them, or just whatever. That's always more valuable than be like, hey, can I take a picture? Okay, bye.
Right.
And then that's it.
If
it's like you're everybody else, even though it's not like, oh, they're going to remember me.
Right.
It's more valuable to you. Like, you're the one who has the memory. Like, you're the one who's going to be able to say, I did that or whatever.
I shook his hand. It was like, hey, what's up?
1,000 times better.
Yeah.
You telling that story is 1,000 times better. Oh, guess who I saw?
Right. Yeah.
Like, you just told all those stories. And you didn't, and you had more to it than I saw this person, and I saw that, and then I went by the Walk of Fame, and I took a picture with it, and then I took, you know what I mean? Like that's a shit. You know how many people have that story? That's shitty.
Because I have.
Dude, you have to take off or something?
No. I just have another crazy story. I want to make sure that we can have enough time for it.
Yeah,
so, do you guys know Emma Wellman?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I know of her. I don't know her.
Amazing person. Another super nice person.
Cool.
And she was coming out. They flew her out for one night to do Entertainment Showcase at the store.
Okay.
So she was in LA. She went home. They called her. They're like, we need you to fly back. They flew her back. They put her up at not the Andaz, the hotel with Sky Bar in it.
I have no.
It's across the street. It's across the street from the store. So they
Roosevelt.
Right. They put her up for the night. And they have her on the showcase, and she does the showcase. They had one of those guys from BuzzFeed who's never done comedy before host the show.
Wonderful.
And he literally came out and he goes, listen, I've never hosted anything in my life, and I don't do stand-up comedy. But anyways, here's your first comic. And I was like, are
you kidding?
Yeah, so, like, needless to say, it was kind of a frustrating night. So after Emma comes out of the show, I'm like, let's go to get a drink. We go to Saddle Ranch. We have a couple of drinks. And she goes, I want to go back to the store. Now, at this point, we've all had a couple drinks. I don't want to go back to the store because I don't want to cause a... Not that we would cause a scene, but, like, we'd been drinking pretty heavy, and she was only there for the night. Plus, she had a flight in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
I don't want to draw any attention at all.
Yeah, I'm like, let's just... it was already a frustrating night. Let's just call it a night. She's like, no, I want to go back. So she starts getting up, and she just starts bombing for the door. I'm like, fuck, pay the bill. Chasing after her, right? Catch up with her on the sidewalk, and she's like, I want to go to the store. So we go in there, and there's like super security when we walk up. It's not normally like that. And they're not charging us for the show or anything, but they have us literally take our phones out. We have to shut them off in front of them.
Okay.
I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
Wow.
So we get in there, and fucking Dave Chappelle's on stage.
Dude.
Smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
On stage, just ashing on the stage, just talking about whatever he wants. And it's me and Kyle Poof and Emma, and we're like, oh my god. So we're watching for a little bit, and then Emma's like, I got a flight in the morning. And I'm like, you sure you can get back? She's like, yeah. She takes off. And
you were like, you sure you get back?
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Yeah,
just kicked her out the door.
See, you got a flight back.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Like, and just watch them do 45 minutes, just, you know what I mean, like, this close to him, and I was like, oh my god, like, I was thinking about it, I was like, that shit can't happen in Boston,
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you're not gonna stumble into Laugh Boston and see like Rogan, you know what I mean?
Dude, what are you talking about? Jeff Ross came by Improv Boston. Hell, you stupid or what?
Yeah. That's what someone I forget who it was.
That was like a year ago.
Well, yeah. So hang out at the Comedy Studio all year, and then maybe.
Yeah, right. You might see Gary Gulman come in. You know, but I had nothing
against
Gary. For the record, though, Gary Gulman is the boss.
Yeah,
he's my top.
Gary Gulman.
He's up there.
Yeah, the same here. That's what I'm saying though.
Yeah. But I feel people like go back to the.
I'm saying he's
going to come back.
He's the only one who gives them the time of day, dude. That's my point. You know, that's nothing against Gary Gulman. You know.
No, I heard they got. Like, whatever. I heard they can choose whatever.
Yeah, it's like people
child
go to
molester
the
they want. Oh, he said it. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm glad you.
It's like people. It's like people go to the burn because Louis C.K. came here.
Yeah,
3 years ago.
Right.
No, that was fairly recently.
But
now that's kind of lost.
That was within. Yeah, that was like within the last 18 months.
Not that you should go to shows because you might see someone famous. It's just that
you're
not.
No, not comics. but audience members.
Right, and that's what I was just about to say. Someone once said on a podcast that they were like, dude, the things that people see...
go to the cellar, be like, dude, when they were there, Chris Rock was there, Seinfeld was there, and Chappelle like, all the same night.
The shit that you see, the shit that you'll see on a Tuesday night in New York for $5 is fucking it's unbelievable.
So I was talking...
Same goes for LA, though.
Yeah, I was talking about people who...
I'm fucking slurring my words. I'm just stone sober. Jesus Christ.
I was talking about people that, like, I actually got to, like, ask, like, advice from and stuff. But then just in terms of who you see, the lineups there were crazy. Yeah, and one night you would see like Santino, Eric Griffin, Theo Vaughn, Nikki Glazer, fucking Drew Lynch, like, and this is all in one night. Right. And they all have their set times and they show up and
those are the sets.
I mean, I follow the store on Twitter and you see the lineup for the night and you go, what? Like,
those are the shows.
And I think I maybe paid for one show.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And the craziest shit is like some of the names you're talking about. Like, I don't know, just say anybody like huge. It'd be like, Brian Regan's opening. Well,
right.
What? What are you talking about?
Right.
Like, it'd be something that absurd. It'd be like,
and then any
like,
of those people can get bumped if like. Fucking
Jerry Seinfeld shows up,
dude. And Andrew Dice Clay came in.
There you go.
And then I remember, I think Santino was supposed to go at 10, and then Dice Clay was still up, so Santino got to go close the show in the main room,
right?
Just for shits and giggles. They're like, "Oh, go do that." So we went and did that. Came back, did that show, went up. But to the belly room, did another set.
You hear the stories as a comic, and it's hard for you not to Dick not to get hard, because like it's like one of those things where like Rogan goes, oh, when we were doing the podcast, and he goes, I just went over to the belly room real quick, did a set, and then I came and I back.
Right.
Like, what do you mean you just did that?
Right.
Like, oh no, I did 3 sets because I did this room, I did that room, and then I did the main room, all in the same place. I didn't have to leave. Like,
right.
What? What do you mean you just got to do that?
When you were younger,
shit.
Unreal.
Oh man.
Did you have something you were obsessed with when you were younger, like Ninja Turtles or like anything like that?
Yeah,
so if you've ever had like one of those birthday parties or go to another kid's birthday party where they had someone dress up. Like,
oh yeah.
Like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's what it was like. He was dragging me, like literally dragging me to go back and backstage at the store, and there was almost this moment of like, I'm not worthy. So
yeah, right.
we get
Leave me here. You can go ahead.
we get behind the stage or whatever, and he walks up the steps, and I was just standing there looking up like this, and he turned around, and I think he was like, what are you retarded? Like he was like come on. He was like come on, and I was almost like
left foot.
Right.
Yeah. like. But I just remember having the same feeling like in first grade where I saw that the guy dressed up as the Teenage Mutant Turtle, and I had to like freeze or whatever. You know what I mean? Because I had to. I was like, I'm about to go backstage at the store. Nobody gets to do this. Right. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh.
Right.
Yeah. Plus, I didn't deserve it. Like I wasn't a performer or anything. I was just going back there and just fucking watching some fangirl it was crazy. It was. I'm still thinking about it. I was like, man, it's nuts. And I had to pretend the whole time like they're like talking about real shit, and Adam Devine's like, oh dude, I gotta go fucking Iraq. I'm doing this USO thing, and I'm like just touching things on the wall.
Right. Yeah.
Just, like pretending like I'm not.
You used to one of these.
Oh. Yeah. No, but like I wasn't even hanging. Like I got back there and Andrew was talking to them, and I was just kind of like off in the distance, like, oh, what's in this room? Oh, this is a closet. Cool.
I'm just like, I was gonna say you do some shit where you like this. You're like, oh yeah, that's cool. Okay, let me just.
Yeah, just stealing stuff like ashtrays and stuff.
I'll keep a coaster.
I'm just gonna go ahead and take this little souvenir. I thought, I left this here last time I was around.
But yeah,
that is dope, dude.
So I guess the moral of the story is I do regret not doing all the open mics in Boston.
I'm sure you do at this point. But I mean, dude.
And the whole point is, like, even if I never make it, I would rather not make it in a place where
you had a chance.
Or that I can still see some cool shit.
Yeah, I mean? Dude, I mean, 100. What is it? 100% of the shots you don't take don't go in.
Wayne Gretzky, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, you butchered it, but I think it's you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's what it is. Yeah.
No, I didn't. I said 100% of the shots you don't take don't go.
Yeah, that is what you said. That's not the quote.
That's not the direct quote. What he just said.
The quote is you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah. It's the same gist, buddy, but you got it wrong.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. Yeah, it's a Wayne Gretzky quote, dude. You think I'm fucking that one up? Come on.
I think it don't take. Like you didn't take the shot,
and they didn't go in. Is what you're saying.
100% of the shots
you don't take don't go in.
No, that's not what it is.
Is it? All right, no, I gotta look it up.
It's you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's
you miss 100% of the shots. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes more sense.
Dude, he said that about 4 times already, though.
I know, but in my head I'm going, he's wrong. You know when you're convinced, you're like,
anyways, that's my big announcement. I'm moving from Boston. I'll be back once a year.
I'm pumped to hear that, man.
Good riddance.
Right.
But yeah, it's one of those things where you're like, you know what? Fucking Hoff, all right, fine, if you must.
Plus, I've never, in my whole life, no matter what I've done, things have always fallen in my lap. So there's going to be like a lot of, he doesn't deserve what he gets and stuff, and I can appreciate that.
But I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily.
Oh, I didn't even tell you the advice everyone gave me.
True.
Okay, so while you're out there, we were talking about, is there that same like crabs in a bucket type of feel? You know what I mean? Where like someone starts to make it and you go, fuck that guy, and everybody, all the negativity, drag them back down.
Right.
I don't think there is, and it's because they all said the same thing. No matter who I was hanging out with, out of these like paid regulars at the store, they all said the same thing. They said, you know, if you are funny,
right,
and if you're the funniest, no one can stop you.
Right.
The only person that can stop you is yourself. So you can self-sabotage, you can get your own way, but if you're doing all the right things and you're funny, no one can stop you. Now, they said there's a lot of things on top of that need to happen, and it's like, do you know someone that's going to give you an opportunity? Just because you're funny doesn't mean you're going to get an opportunity.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, you know, are you likable? Do people like to work with you? You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, that is a big part of it.
It's
dude.
a huge
right.
part
and
of
a lot.
it.
That's a problem for a lot of comics
because they're
assholes.
so fucking bitter. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it's like if you're nice and someone likes you're cool and someone likes hanging out with you, plus you're funny, then they'll go, you know what? Why don't you come open up for me at the Ice House?
Yeah,
right.
That's so
many
or if you're
comics
good
have
to
said
ride in a car with.
So many comics are like, I want a good hang on the road.
Right.
You know?
That's totally true.
But let's while we have our producer in the room, let's take a quick break. Let's save this thought for right after the break, and we'll pick it right back up.
Word.
All right. Dude, I have a fucking headache. You have like Tylenol or some shit? Dude, that would be dope. My fucking headache. I was like, dude, those days are over for me, man. Oh, no.
I just want to make sure we bring it up. January 26th is my farewell show. I'm declining.
We'll talk about that. But no, we'll
at the end, let's you got any plugs? You got any shit?
No, I'm saying, well, yeah, actually, yeah, we'll let you do it. Yeah. We'll let you. So I be like, where we're at. Lovers in every town. Gotta give that love. Just send love that.
This is WEMF Radio.
WEMF Radio.
WEMF Radio.
WEMF Radio.
WEMF Radio. You're listening to WEMFradio.com. WEMFradio.com.
Sweet. WEMF.
And we're back. That was a nice, an extended pee break there.
Nice little break.
Yeah, I had a pounding headache. I'm glad that I took some Tylenol, and I feel much better now.
Some bag Tylenol.
Not gonna lie. Yeah, the world's sketchiest Tylenol offering ever given up.
Whatever.
Oh man, that's great. That's great. Shout out to WEMF.
You start seeing trails. Yeah. This is the best Tylenol I've ever had.
Oh man.
Anybody else feeling this Tylenol?
Yeah,
I'm really liking this.
You guys seeing this?
You ever see that episode of Archer where he's like, "Who puts OxyContin in the what was it? I can't even remember. I forget what it was.
I have seen that.
You don't. No, you. Oh,
yeah, I love that episode.
That was you guys never saw Archer though?
Actually,
I've seen it, but
that's
no
one
one
of those
can tell what you're talking about.
That's one of those shows I've watched like maybe 2 episodes, and then everybody. That's one of those shows when people be like, you know what show you love? And then everybody fucking says it, and you're like, all right, I got to watch it, but it's more of the time of like, I really don't want to at this point, because everyone's telling me I'd watch it.
Dude, it was
because you're gassing it up, man. Like when people say something like,
funny.
you know, you're going to love the show, and then you watch it with all these huge expectations, you're like, I thought it was okay.
That was one of the ones that I was like, all right, this does pay off. I like it.
Delivered for you?
Yeah. I love that guy, H. John Benjamin, his voice, you know what I mean? Like that voice he has is great. It's very,
white.
I mean, it's very white, yes,
proper.
but
is that the Bob's Burgers guy too?
Yes, exactly. He does both of them. But that OxyContin thing, dude, that was like a huge, that was like a GIF and a meme and a fucking, a Vine film. It was hilarious.
Look into it. I don't know. Sorry.
Fine, guys.
You got to do the research when you come here.
I know. Shit.
Just study up on your Archer. You won't get any of the references we do here.
Damn it.
You dummy.
Now, dude, I got to bring this up because it just reminded me. No homo, but you had to take your sweatshirt off because you got a little warm.
Right.
And I was looking at your rippling body, and especially the
this is what a man looks like.
The chest.
This is what a tiny little man looks like.
The chest area, and I saw your your scar there, and I remember you being you were in the ICU and all this crazy shit.
Yeah, man, I almost died.
Right now, I thought that was supposed to be a fairly routine thing. Tell what was it? For the people listening that don't know, what was your procedure that you had?
So I had hyperparathyroidism, which is an excess of PTH hormone, which makes your body think you don't have enough calcium no matter what. So you can be eating tons of it, doesn't matter. It's in panic mode. So what it does is it starts to steal the calcium from your bones.
Okay.
And all of that that calcified blood ends up in your brain and causes memory loss and lethargy and stuff like that. So I felt like shit for a long time. And you guys know I used to party pretty hard.
Sure. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So I used to wake up and be like, oh well, of course I don't remember stuff because drugs, alcohol.
Right.
So then I decided to try and get clean, and when I wasn't drinking or partying, I still wasn't feeling any better. Okay. So I went to the hospital, went back to the doctor. They were just like, yeah, we have to have a CAT scan, all this different stuff. So they found 2 tumors.
Wow.
In my throat, and they said, it's pretty routine. We're going to go in there. We're going to take them out. If we find anything else that's wrong in there, we'll take those out too. So I went in. They said the surgery was great. We found an extra tumor. We took that out. They took out 2 of my parathyroid glands. They left 2 in on the left side. So they said, you don't need any drugs or anything, like hormones.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They said, you're going to be fine.
All right, cool.
So I go home the first 3 days. I feel amazing. You couldn't even see the scar. It was like this thin little line.
Right.
And then I'm brushing my teeth, and then all of a sudden there's like this little explosion in my neck.
Dude.
And I was like, what the hell? Like, I just felt something explode. I'm like, that's weird. And then all of a sudden, there was like a flash swell where there was a softball in my throat. God. And then I was like, fuck. And then it started to spread to the other side. So now it looks like I'm wearing like one of those inflatable things like you wear on an airplane to like help you sleep.
Right.
It was inside my neck.
Oh,
so I called 911
dude.
and I couldn't talk. So I'm like whispering to them and they're like, what's wrong? And they said the address and they're like, just make it sound if this is your address. And I was like,
wow.
So
dude.
I was basically like, I have to get downstairs because they'll be struggling to get into both apartments. They're not going to know.
Right.
So I'm like, I just need to get downstairs to the porch. And now at this time, I'm starting to lose consciousness. I'm like heading downstairs.
Jesus Christ.
I finally get down to my porch and they're out there and they meet me out there. And like, this is when I knew it was bad. The EMT lady sees me and she goes, "Gah!" Like, she's yeah, she was like, "Oh my god!"
An EMT in Boston, mind you. She's like, "Holy
they've seen a lot of stuff."
Fuck.
So they finally get me on the ambulance and I'm panicking and I'm like reaching for stuff. So they actually had to like tie me down because I'm like just trying to like get at my neck because it was basically they were saying that there's no way that it could asphyxiate me because the pressure inside of my neck isn't strong enough to collapse your esophagus.
Okay.
But it felt like it was.
No, I know. You're struggling to breathe still. Yeah.
So they get me into the ER or whatever, St. Elizabeth, and they call the surgeon. Surgeon's on his way, and I keep telling him, now I can kind of like talk. I've calmed down. I was like, you need to open me up. And they're like, no. They're like, the incision's so beautiful. That's what they kept saying. They're like, they did such a great job. They wanted the swelling to go down. I was like, no, you don't understand. I was like, so then I reached for and I was able to grab a scalpel that was next to me. And then the doctor's like, I was trying to stab myself in the neck. And the doctor goes, everyone has to leave right now. So they hold me down. The dude takes scissors and he just cuts it open. And my neck exploded, like blood everywhere.
Oh, my God.
And I felt so much better and I pass out. So then I wake up and they're like...
so that was worth it.
Oh, totally worth it. Yeah.
Did you see it before you went out?
Yeah, dude, it looked like it was black. It was like dark,
okay.
old
Because it was
blood.
right. It was in the pocket.
Yeah, it was like old blood. It shot out and it was black.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's fucking crazy.
That was not
so
if you're just
crazy.
like watching it splatter all over the lady's face, like
I would have been.
There's like an intern in the corner, like
right before you go out.
Crying. Hold on, can you bring my girlfriend in with my cell phone, please? I need to get this. I need to.
Well, I do have a good video of me draining it like further down.
No shit.
But
so
I'm bad with that. It's like my skin's crawling right now.
So that would be a YouTube sensation.
Yeah, I might have to post it.
Oh my god.
So they wake me back up and they're like, listen, you have to go into emergency surgery. And I was like, okay. So they open me up, they go in, they put the stuff in it to make the bleeding clot. Then they had to leave it open, and so I wake up in the ICU and I just have this drain. It's basically just like a rubber straw that goes down my neck and
faucet,
just like staples in my neck.
That's gnarly, dude.
So my girlfriend was there and my mom was there, and I'm just sitting there and I was like, how is it? And they're like, you're gonna be okay. Like everyone's crying, and I was like, I'm gonna be fine. So for the next like 24 hours, it would just randomly like shoot blood out.
Oh my god!
So like the nurse would come over and be like 20 crackers, and I'd be like, well. And it would just, like shoot blood out of it.
Lost my appetite.
Like I'm a squirter. Turns out.
So after a day, they take the drain out and they put 2 more staples in and they send me home. So it started to swell up again, and every once in a while I would push on it.
Dude, what the fuck was happening? That it,
basically, it happens to like 10% of people who get the surgery, but your body doesn't clot. Like all of the surgery they do inside, like it's supposed to heal, but it just can open back up.
Yeah. So there's kind of just like an abscess there now, huh? Would have to fill in with something eventually, right?
So what happened was, they took the staples out, and I was still getting that swelling. And then there was one night where it was like 80 degrees out, or it was 80 degrees in my apartment. This was in like October, and I had all of like my sweats on. I had a hoodie on, and I was underneath the covers, and I was like shivering cold. And my girlfriend was like, "You need to go to the hospital." Right. And I had been through so much shit, like 2 surgeries, so I was like, "Nah, I don't know. I'll just stay here.
I'll tough it out."
Yeah. And she's like, "No, you really need to go." So I went there, and they're just like, "Yeah, you're like super infected." There's an abscess or whatever. So then they had to go in another time, do another surgery where they took everything out. Like all of the shit they put in there to help it clot. Right. They took all that stuff out. This time, after the surgery, I was so messed up on drugs, I didn't realize that they told me they left the incision open. so that it could heal naturally without closing it. They didn't want to close anything in there that wasn't supposed to be in there.
Right.
So I get home and I take the bandage off to clean it, and my neck is just wide open. There's this giant hole in my neck.
Whoa, dude.
And I was like freaking out, and I called the doctor. He's like, no, it's supposed to be like that. So a nurse came by once a day to like clean it out, and then I started just cleaning it myself. So it just, what you see now, it's actually pretty amazing. This closed on its own.
Yeah.
Wow. So this is it being like over time, no stitches, no nothing.
Right,
it just closed on its own.
Yeah, dude, the body is fucking crazy.
Right, it was amazing. So anyway, so fast forward in LA, I think people were like, oh, like when Santino was taking me from show to show, I think they thought I was like a Make-A-Wish kid because I had the giant scar.
I was like, Callan, you're such a good person. I can't believe you're bringing around this child,
sickly boy.
Yeah. This boy who
Melissa Joan Hart's like, do you want a cookie?
It could be my last one, Melissa.
Can you have them?
Yeah.
Can I just stick it in there?
Yeah. Put it in my new mouth.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
That I kind of wish you didn't tell that story, because I would just start telling everyone that fucking like, I got into it with the wrong people, man. And one night these 5 guys took me out behind a bar and just fucking
got lucky.
It's just too centered.
Stab me in the neck.
You know, I want to say that, but it's just like
too perfect of a wound.
What if I get a tattoo that's just like, you missed? Brass knuckles. That'd be cool.
No, but I don't know, man. It's a fucking badass looking scar.
Yeah, man.
Dude, you fucking wear it well. Now, did you ever see?
Looks good on you.
Oh god damn, what was that movie with Christopher Walken is in it?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Shit, I hated the title.
So did I, dude. It was Sam Rockwell and Colin Farrell and Christopher Walken. I can look it up.
12 Psycho, 13
Psychopaths.
something
Five Psychopaths.
It's 7 Psychopaths.
7 Psychopaths.
7 Psychopaths.
Yeah.
Hey, you miss all the psychopaths
that you don't fucking
see,
that's the quote.
Louis Anderson once said, the difference between a good comedian and a great comedian is callbacks. Yeah. And Justin Hoff has motherfucking callbacks, baby. Now, did you see 7 Psychopaths, dude?
I did.
I loved that movie. I thought it was great. The Sam Rockwell twist.
I love the ending.
Right.
Well, let's tell everyone what's the ending.
No,
spoiler alert. Yeah, no.
That was my favorite.
That was kind of an undergroundish type movie. So a lot of people didn't really see that.
Not the end. Like the Buddha story, I thought was the end. That's the ending that I thought I loved that part.
I forget. I just remember, him.
It's hard to describe because just see the movie.
Right.
Just watch it.
Another one that was great that I fucking didn't expect it to be was Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. You ever see that one?
No.
I was gonna watch it on the plane.
That's a great movie. You also get to see Michelle Monaghan's boobies.
Whoa.
Wow. So that's worth it.
Well, that's the problem with the internet is because if I want to, I'll just Google them.
You can just Google Michelle Monaghan Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and the tit pic will pop right up. I promise you.
What was I going to say to you? I want to bring this up on the air. Do you know your IQ? And 2-part question.
Sure.
And this goes for you too.
Sure.
And do you think if someone knows her IQ, is that douchey?
Yeah.
Well, if somebody finds a way to bring it up for no reason, right? Like
do you know your IQ?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. No, I do.
That's a great answer.
I think so.
I think I do.
Because here's the thing: you don't know if those tests that you take on your own are accurate. But I remember when I was working for Bay State College, we all kind of like took an exam, and I remember the lady came up to me and she goes, well. She's like, good news and bad news. She goes, we would need more testing to tell. She said, but you're either a genius or you're schizophrenic.
I thought I was going to be like, what? Okay, well, good news and bad news.
Yeah.
Be like, the good news is you're not going after all these benefits you could be getting because you are mentally disabled.
Yeah.
you get free housing, Justin. That's the good news. Bad news
you could have assistance. But what I found, it's funny that you guys bring that up because I was reading some stuff online and then you get down a rabbit hole and you start clicking links and you get deeper and deeper and deeper.
Oh, yeah.
So what they say is that people who are creative geniuses have attributes of people with schizophrenia.
Okay.
And then people. So like basically, you're.
I mean, it's pretty creative to be another person at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's you gotta give it to them. That's like relatively amazing that
like,
you could be that creative to just be a completely different person.
Well,
whenever
schizophrenia is more like you hear
thoughts,
voices, and stuff like that, and stuff, and like it doesn't just sound like it's in your head. It sounds like it's in the room with you.
Right. Yeah. There's a transmitter in my hat. They know where I am at all times.
Right. Yeah. So that kind of thing.
So you guys.
So what
similar attributes and whatnot.
Right. So what they were saying is that they showed you like these illusions on the computer, and if your brain could see the illusions, then you're normal. If you couldn't see the illusions and you just saw like a regular face, you had schizophrenia. If you could shut it off, so if you could see the illusion but then make yourself see it regular, then you're creatively a genius.
All right.
So I was really freaked out because I was like, I don't know
what I want to say.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I'm schizophrenic or not.
So,
but I think I have a pretty average IQ as far as those standard tests go.
This came up because of like work and like some shit got brought up about IQs, and then I was thinking, I'm like, well, dude, like if anything, we've learned that like there's some people that are just really good at shit. Like, and it could be anything. I'm like, what if you're just really good at taking IQ tests? What if you're just really good at visually, like that's what you do? That you can pass that shit, or you're a great test taker. And the truth is that you couldn't have a conversation with someone, you're a complete moron.
Yeah,
like that could absolutely be a thing.
The problem is the way we measure IQ.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying. It's like a weird type of scenario. It's like even if it was physical, what's his name? Who was it? John Cena was shitting all over the NFL Combine and how they measure strength and everything. He goes, he goes, it doesn't make sense. He goes, there's a lot more exercises now. We know way more about the body. He goes, they have, have you bench press.
It's like
for a certain amount of pounds. I forget how many pounds it is.
Right.
A certain amount of pounds, how many reps.
It's
all
like
based off reps. He goes, that doesn't mean you're strong. That does not mean you're strong.
It's like a mini decathlon almost.
He goes, it has nothing to do with being explosive. He goes, squatting would be a better like scenario as far as how strong you are. That would be definitely a better way to measure that. He
overall
goes,
strength,
bench press. He goes, pitting up good weight on a bench press and being physically strong are not the same thing.
Right. It's not.
He goes, like, obviously people will think that. He goes, the truth is, he goes, as far as being explosive, your tendon strength, your grip strength, you're not measuring that.
Right.
You're measuring how much someone can bench.
Right.
That's it. That one exercise. You know, so it's the same
And
thing. Like mentally, it's like, is there a, who's to say that this person is dumber than this person because this person can paint a picture and this person can solve an equation in like this amount of time.
No, I agree with that 100%.
I think it's Einstein said if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it's going to live its whole life thinking it's an idiot.
Right.
I mean, I had a similar quote, and it was, if a fish
was in a tree.
If a fish, no. If a fish is in a tank, then he doesn't know he's in prison.
Right.
But he could make great spaghetti. It's something like that.
You're right, though. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it's
that's like fucking funny. That's another great callback there. I like it. Callback to the first half of the show.
Yeah. Whatever.
Oh man, we have fun.
We try.
We do try. I think we're succeeding.
Speaking of fun, what was like the funnest shit you've done recently? Shut up, Justin.
I know. Right.
I don't know.
It's not for our guests. Guests not included. You know what, dude? I gotta be. I mean, the most fun thing I've done recently. Let me think.
All right, you took too long.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like you want to. I feel like you want to tell me something funny.
No, I don't. I just thought of it because we were talking about fun. Because you know what? Actually, my answer would be really stupid.
Well, see, mine's kind of stupid too. But I'm going to tell you anyway, and then you can tell me yours.
I bet you I'll top you.
It has nothing to do with comedy.
All right, good.
Can I tell you?
Oh, you go last because yours probably going to win. You son of a bitch.
Definitely going to win.
But you know what I did the other day though? I went out and I bought my nephew his first ever pair of ice skates.
That is a good thing. That is an excellent thing.
It wasn't fun. It was more like, yo.
That's sentimental. That feels good.
Like, dude.
Because I'm going to go a similar route.
All right. See, I'm happy to hear this.
I came home from work and saw my daughter today, and she could not have been more excited, and that was the best feeling I've had in I don't know how long.
She was like, that's my dad, and I'm fucking pumped that he's here.
It was like, oh my God, like, did she not? Like, not? I already know she knows who I am.
Right.
But she generally like freaked out seeing me today, and I was like, man, it feels fucking great. Like, I can't even. I mean, it feels amazing.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome.
Right.
Well, now mine's dumb.
No.
Good.
Let's hear it. Yours is going to be some actual fun though.
I did have fun. Yeah.
Right.
I
spit it.
So Kyle Plouffe could see that I was like fucking all stressed out and stuff. Yeah, and so
I went the opposite.
He goes, plus we were partying pretty hard one night, and we were up all night, and I didn't sleep, and I was like so sick the next day, and I was like, I need to go sit. We went to go see Star Wars, and I was like, I need to go like sit in a sauna or something. And he goes, dude, he's like, I got something for you. So we're in Hawthorne, which is right near LAX. We drive like 45 minutes to Burbank. I'm like, dude, what are we doing? He's like, dude, don't worry. And like, he made me bring a change of clothes.
I know what it is.
I was like,
I know what it is.
He made me bring a change of clothes, and he's like, we're going to go to the store after this. And I was like, all right, whatever. So I brought a change of clothes, and we go into this place, and it fucking smells weird. I'm starting to get like nervous. It looks kind of like culty or whatever.
Was this in Venice by any chance?
Wasn't, I don't know. It was close to that.
Wasn't that one?
It was close to that. So we go there, and then this dude was like, hey, man, have you ever been here before? And I was like, no. He's like, all right, you have to sign all this stuff.
No, I've been kidnapped, actually. What's going on?
So I had to sign all this stuff, and he was like, watch this video, and it turns out I'm going to go into a sensory deprivation tank.
Now, was this Float Lab? Did you go to?
It was just Float. It was called.
I've done it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've done it.
Have you done it?
Yeah.
What did you think?
I loved it.
Yeah, it's not for everybody, right? But I fucking loved it.
So the funny thing was, when I said I wanted to do it, and my sister was the one who actually got me like a gift certificate to go. Yeah. Gift certificate. And she got like, you know what I mean. So yeah. So I ended up going, and she was like, I could never do that. You know, I'm claustrophobic.
Yeah, people hate it, dude.
I'm claustrophobic, all this shit. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, like, I can get, like, nervous in those situations, but I wouldn't, say that about myself, And I'm like, I think it'd be cool. And I was like, it's the exact opposite as far as feeling that way. Because even though you're about to get in that tank, once you're in there, it feels infinite. You feel like you got more space than you've ever had in your life. Right. So I was like, if you can get over the fact of just getting in it, like I'm about to get in the tank right now, once you get in it, you don't feel that at all. Like, I was like, I'm fairly tall. Like, I was like,
it was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be, too, because it's like almost, you can stand up in it.
Yeah, and every time you think you're about to touch the side, you don't.
Right.
And you just keep going. That's when I got, I want to know if you felt the same thing. Creep. I felt like I was basically like I could breathe in outer space. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Like, I was floating so much, and it was going on for so long, I was like, I am out here right now in the universe.
That's unreal.
That's how I felt. I felt like I didn't have a suit on. I'm an astronaut. I'm that smart right now. I'm an astronaut. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Did you feel that at all? Did you feel like...
It took me a while to, like, get into it. Like, they're just like, oh, you're supposed to shut everything off and stuff. But the more I fought it, the harder it was. So I just let my brain go where it wanted to go.
Did you use any type of mental aid at all in
I did, yeah. Right. Like, so they say to have like
an edible or something.
No, but
that's what I'm sorry. That's what I meant.
No, I meant they tell you like it helps if you have like a mantra or whatever, or like so I did this thing where if I started to get lost in there, I would start to focus on my breathing, and I would just be like, everything's temporary.
Okay.
And I would just breathe it out, and I kept saying that, but it just made me think about things about how, like, literally, like, life, bad situation, good situation, nothing lasts forever, so I'm in there just like, and I started getting really good at it. By the end of it, I was zen the fuck out.
You straight meditating.
Yeah, I was just like,
that's awesome.
I was at the point where I borderline fell asleep, but I was in between that, like, falling asleep and not. And then I was doing the same thing you were doing. I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing right now with this time?
Right.
Am I supposed to be thinking about stuff? Am I not supposed to be thinking about stuff? If I relax too much, I don't want to sleep.
Right.
But if I sleep, that'd be good, I guess, because I'm relaxed. So how do you balance this?
They say that.
The only thing I took away from it and about, like, feeling anything, about, like, life or anything like that, because people are like, you're going to, write a new 20 minutes, like, like, whatever.
Oh, it really did change my perspective on stuff.
And the only thing I thought of, I was like, why do we do anything in our life that doesn't make it better?
We talked about that.
I was like, all of it's a complete waste of time.
Right.
I was like, and then in my head I'm going, I mean, I play video games. I like playing video games. That's a release for me. But is it making my life better other than temporarily making it better for that little bit? Like you talked about temporary.
Right.
Like, it makes me feel better for that long, but in the long run, that did not improve my life.
But there's nothing.
My life is not better for having done that.
But
it just feels that way because of this, and it gives you a temporary thing. Should I be doing that time more constructively for this? Because I feel like that is helping. But you do need those releases. So you're hanging out with your friends. Hanging out with your friends, is that as important as you make it out to be? You know what I mean? Or is it you fucking around because you don't want to face the shit?
Hold on. Let me just say this because it was very similar to what you came away with. So by the end of it, like I said, I was really good at it. Good in the way where like my mind was just wherever it was, and I wasn't thinking about paying bills. I wasn't thinking about what I'm worried about. I wasn't stressed if people liked me. I was just in the zone and living in the present. And that's the hardest thing to do. It's like if you're anxious, if you're depressed, it's because you're living in the past. If you're anxious, it's because you're living in the future. If you're happy or if you're content, it's what's happening right now. So should you play video games? Yes, you should. But what I realized when I was in the tank was that I should stick to a routine where I go, okay, this is where I play video games.
For this
right? So I'm going to play video games for an hour.
Yes.
And I read this thing which made so much sense. It said, write down all of the things on one side of a piece of paper that make you happy. Write down the things that bring you joy.
Yeah.
Then on the other side of the piece of paper, write down the things that you do every day. And then try to make those things.
Connect that.
Yeah, try to make those lists match each other.
Now, that all right, you just reminded me, the Buddha was the one who said that. All forms of suffering come from either living in the past or the future.
Right.
That's a great one. But this one was just real quick because you said it pretty much. This is
sometimes your future can be your past, and then the present is like your past and future once were.
Wayne Gretzky said
that. That's Barry Bonds. Either way, a great athlete said that one. And now, they are 100% correct.
Tony Robbins said this one. He said that like time is like money. You can't always be making time investments. Sometimes you have to waste some time, which is the video game thing. That's all, you know what I mean?
Right.
Just you can't always be investing your money hoping to make more money. Sometimes you need to blow some dough. And just be like.
So when we were just making fun of how I butchered the Wayne Gretzky quote, and we were out there with our buddy Crespo,
you stumbled upon this one. How about that?
And then he said, see, I don't know if I agree with that. He goes, because you can't say that to a quarterback. That's what he said. He goes, sometimes you shouldn't throw every pass. You got to hang on to it every now and then. I'm like, yeah, that's a great point, because it wasn't at all on my side, but he did make an excellent point. But
man, I love it. That's so
I forget what I was gonna say.
I'm sorry.
I do. Hold on. Let me see if I can remember this quote. I'm going to butcher it. Now I'm like nervous. I'm going to butcher an actual quote that I think is funny.
Okay.
What was
it? 90?
Oh, I remember what I was going to say.
Attention deficit.
Go ahead, because I need time to make sure I get this right.
So we were saying about like how you can't just go. So that's the thing. I didn't. So December 4th was the anniversary of my dad's death, and I ignored it.
How long's it been?
He died in. So it's been 13 years.
Oh, I thought it was a lot more recent than that, actually. I thought it was like 5-ish.
Well, because I talk about it every day.
No, not at all. I mean,
it's like, wow, I thought it happened yesterday.
I don't think it's
You were just crying this morning. Like, what's going on? It was one of those things where it was like he was my best friend. It happened so sudden. It was very traumatic. And then, I was 20 years old. I was about to turn 20, and it was like one of those things where we had all these plans and things we were going to do, and it just completely disrupted my life. So every year, as much as I try to be like things are going good, it just something happens to me where
it looms.
It does, and I can feel it, and I go, no, not this year. I'm not going to fucking forget.
Yeah. I think we all got an anniversary like that.
So
I got one.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So December 4th, instead of even visiting his grave or acknowledging it, I just fucking flew to L.A.
Right.
And then I was going like a bastard, and everything was like, how do I become a better comic, and how do I do all these different things, and didn't take a minute to fucking process,
You know what that sounds like? Guilt.
Yeah.
It sounds like a little bit like, not in a horrible way, but I feel like that sounds like that, whereas you're like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to get away from it by doing this, I'm just going to go to L.A., and then later, it's like you're catching up to, I do need to take a moment to...
And then when I had my meltdown at the Standard, one of the things that I said was, I was like, what if my dad died, and I move out here to fucking fulfill his prophecy, or whatever I thought, what do you want to do? And then I'm not good enough, you know what I mean? It's, and then Santino was like, we're just eating eggs, man, he's like,
anyway, I want to know, should I get sausage on the side?
Sunny side up or scrambled? dickhead.
Yeah, and the waitress is like, I don't know, sir. Like,
Yeah, right.
So,
It's
Justin,
funny you
get it together.
It's funny
I
you
know
say that.
people
Like,
but when I was floating,
yeah.
I came to terms with all that stuff, and I talked to him as if he could hear me.
Right.
Said everything I needed to say, and then after that, I think I was good. But I just needed that moment to acknowledge, like, okay,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense.
That is a real thing, though. People that like, I don't know. When you don't address something head on, like, dude, you know what I mean? Like, it's so weird how you can shut yourself out mentally, but then once you just
like physically it starts to,
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
But then once you just let yourself, you kind of like, all right, you just open the floodgates a little bit. Yeah, it changes everything. Dude. It changes absolutely everything.
Yeah, because you do have to once in a while just say, okay, maybe I'm this, or I'm that. I gotta realize that before I can actually just accept the fact.
Sure.
So, it's funny you said
Well, it started to manifest
even-
itself physically. Like I was getting sick, and
even
like
just
all
raw-
this stuff was happening.
even just
or in
raw
any weird
emotion.
way. Like
Yeah.
you said, he's like, dude, we're trying to eat eggs. What the hell's going on? What are you talking
and I'm
about?
like,
Yeah. And that's like one of those things where like I was working at I was bartending, and these two regulars that come in all the time, just hot local towny shit people, dude, just like good people, but working class dudes, having a good time, whatever.
Did you say hot?
Huh?
You said they were
Hot
hot.
shit. I said like hot
no,
something shit.
yeah, no,
people.
I don't know.
It did it in a backwards way.
Yeah, I think you just called dudes.
I think
hot.
you just said they're
No,
just
I
hot.
said they're hot local towny shit like people, like hot
the way,
shit.
the way you the way you said it.
I'm
though,
not
it's-
judging you if they're
Smoking
attractive.
hot guys come
Dude.
into the bar that I work at. Okay, you got me.
It's 2017,
and they're local
man.
towny working class, like but not that
Attractive
kind of working
guys.
class. No,
Yeah.
like village people hot. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of working class. You want to come into a bar. So anyway, let me tell you, this one hot guy's talking to the hot guy. So. He's like saying something like just total like normal shit. Like he said something about drinking this, and then he goes, I'm thinking about getting an appetizer. And he goes, you should. He goes, my ex-wife, and he starts going off on this tangent, right? And he goes, this is the thing about divorce. He goes, and they get you this way, and then he goes, you're making this type of money.
Jesus
And he goes,
Christ.
you take this type of money, and then he goes, and they set you up with this amount of alimony, but then what if you're not making that much?
Right.
He goes on a 10, 15-minute rant.
That's another real thing. Yeah,
Yeah, it is a real thing.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Anyway, no fault state, Massachusetts. Let's not get it.
yeah, right.
Right, you could literally catch your woman in bed. You could have video. You could Facebook Live the shit, her banging another man, and guess what? You could still owe him.
Right. Yeah.
It's absurd.
Right.
Anyway,
Just like same thing with they're also no fault auto accidents. No,
whatever.
no one's at fault.
Yeah, it's
Idiots.
completely
Idiots.
anywho, he goes on this tangent forever, like just would not stop talking about the divorce. And finally, he
there's
catches
more.
his breath and he goes, "And this stupid, whatever." He goes, "And I'm just up to my ears in this, whatever." And then we stop, and then this dude Jimmy like just looks at me and goes, I just want to know if I should have got an appetizer. He was like, what the fuck? Like, went on one long thing, all based off of boneless or bone in. That was it. And he was like, thing about wings is my wife. Like, but that's how, like, worked up people can get.
And
they will take anything and just project whatever they need to to get it out
That guy
in the
needs a therapist.
strangest ways. Like, you don't know how it's going to happen. Like, you just really don't. Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's,
I
I always find that hilarious.
That guy needs professional help, dude.
Yeah.
He
That's
does.
fucking
Yeah.
hilarious.
I know. Well, he's also at the bar I work at probably like every night just killing a bottle of Tito's to his face.
And
maybe, that's how he...
Maybe that's why he's not married anymore, Joe.
It's a good
How about
chance,
that?
but that's, I don't know. That's the type of shit that happens.
Just being a dick and playing devil's advocate. I'm sure his wife's a cunt.
Yeah, I mean... actually, it's one of those things where like he's such a nice dude. You're like, she has to be,
Right.
You know?
So that's what I'm.
But then again, you see the one side of the
Sure,
all that stuff.
Sure.
Just don't get married.
Yeah, well,
that's a definite dude. That's being abandoned by a lot of people now, man.
Yeah.
You know, it ain't what it used to be. That's for damn sure.
Let me tell you something about marriage, guys. It is awesome. It is everything I hoped it could be.
Nice.
And when you guys find that special one or something, you'll understand what I'm talking about.
Yep.
But right now you don't, because
You
you
know
couldn't.
Right.
Right,
You have
of
no
course.
idea.
My ex-girlfriend physically assaulted me. Actually, how about that?
No, she didn't. Really?
She did. Yeah.
That's love.
In front
A
of
good one?
Right in front of my house. Yeah.
Should leave a mark?
No, it wasn't like that. She just kind of she like mushed my head, but it was forceful, dude. You know what I mean?
It was
Like-
So it wasn't a slap, it was a stiff arm?
yeah.
It was a mush.
But
She smushed it.
there was the
Extra.
there was
at the end?
There was the impact because she started mushing before she, you know what I mean?
So
yeah,
a stiff, she gave you a stiff arm.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And she
So it was
just
a
kinda-
palm strike, really.
Yeah, more or less. And I just was like, wow. Like, wow.
You know what? You're such a liar. You were like,
wow.
And it ended pretty smoothly. That's what you said to me. You told me, like, it was mutual. It was a good thing.
I did not say that.
Well, it was mutual because then he punched her.
I did not say that. I said I broke it off with her. Straight up.
No, you did not, buddy. Dude. Maybe not on here. Like, I'm not gonna call you out on some shit. But you just flat out said to me, you were like, you know, it ended really good and it's smooth, and you know, it's not like we have to be friends. You like, because I'm not like that, but I feel like it ended like well. Is what you said to me. That don't sound well.
Because I had broken up with her 48 hours before that show, and she was definitely listening. You know, and I have no ill will towards her, but except. It's like
she attacked.
There was that, and she just I don't know, man. She was just a strangely like selfish individual in a lot of ways, and then there was that thing, and just all I don't know.
I mean, she gave you a stiff arm. I
thought I said on the show that I broke up with her straight up. No. But I thought I said that on air.
You did not. You said you broke up. You did not at any point.
At the time, I was probably trying to save some feelings, and now it doesn't matter.
But you know what? Bobby Orr had that great quote. He said, if you stiff arm, wait, how does it go? If your arm stiff,
if you get stiff armed,
right? I've heard this.
100% of the relationships that you don't break up from,
right,
won't last.
They're over before
you can never score.
Right,
I think that's how it ends.
I think that's what he said.
You can never score.
I figured out the quote that I was going to tell you guys.
Oh yes,
before all this started.
Yes,
which was. I forget what movie it was in. I saw it. No, I saw it in the movie. I Think I Love My Wife.
I didn't even see that one.
Chris Rock.
Yeah,
okay.
Which is an excellent movie, by the way. You should check it out.
Okay.
And it says,
speaking of people I hung out with in L.A. I'm just kidding. I
didn't. Put it on the list. Put it on the list.
You can lose a lot of money chasing women, but you never lose a lot of women chasing money.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really enjoyed.
You might lose the right woman chasing money, Jim.
Right.
Yeah, but who's to say?
Bro,
really right.
If I could pick this mic up and drop it right now, I would.
You know what?
Yeah.
Don't.
Shit.
That's why I have a certain affinity. Like my girlfriend and I have been through so much shit, on and off. And
how long you been together?
So it's been on and off for 3 years.
Oh, okay.
But she, anytime we broke up, it was probably my fault. And the industry's hard, and me trying to be like, oh, I can't go to shows because I have a girlfriend, and I was being a dick, So she moved back to Connecticut a couple times because she was living with me. And then what I realized is, like, we went from I had no money, I had nothing, and she stuck by me through all of that stuff. And then people were like, oh, are you guys gonna go to LA? And I'm like, absolutely, she's gonna come with me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
That's exact. Like, you couldn't ask for anything more than that. Like,
right.
Like now things are starting to go well, but she was there when I fucking had nothing.
Here's the thing, and even I don't know. Maybe this is pessimistic of me, but it's not. Like, I'm being strangely optimistic about this. Mm-hmm. Even if things went south and you broke up, you both live in Los Angeles now. You won, dude.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
she wants to be a sitcom writer. She went to Emerson,
that's even better.
Yeah, it's a perfect
you
place
guys
for
both
it,
have the perfect excuse.
Exactly.
No, there's a lot of you might be doing real well, here, and you're having a good time or whatever. And if she's completely out of any type of industry scene at all, and then she sees you, maybe struggling in LA or some whatever, God forbid, some people would just get fed up and jump ship, or just pull that ripcord.
There's a good chance that she gets there and gets into a writer's room somewhere, and she's doing well and I'm struggling.
But she'll also she'll be grinding in her own way though, and she'll be like, all right, I fucking get it, even though I might not go on stage and perform the way you do, I understand.
Yeah. So we were kidding around on an episode about we were saying, I was like, what if you like your girlfriend because he's something about her being funny? And I was like, what if she was like, I'm going to do stand-up? And then she got, way better than you and got more shit. I'm like, how would it go? And he's like, I wouldn't care about this. I'm like, okay, how about this? Let me paint you this picture.
Right.
And then I was like, what if she got to open for, Joe Rogan at the comedy? So he goes, murder suicide. He didn't hesitate. Now, that's the type of thing where... we were talking about balance, not just being a comic with other comics and all this stuff. Imagine, you and your girl...
I don't think you can date another... stand-up comedian. I just don't think.
No, but I'm saying your girl is in the sitcom scene. She's in the same realm of what you're doing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and if she's having this massive success, and you're probably like this,
Right.
I really need to get going.
Well, I would hope. I would hope
yeah.
that if she is like writing on this thing, they would be like, okay. She would be like,
oh, isn't your boyfriend a comedian?
Yeah, like, can't we cast him as?
Fuck yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
and if she doesn't, just fucking
And dude,
choke her out while the police are outside. I'm like,
and then, oh, that's funny. And then run away on your fucking your blades, your prosthetic legs. Oh, that was a deep callback. That was an Oscar Pistorius callback.
I was just about to say, I'd be like, you mean to tell me they were fucking casting a short, annoying little shit, and you didn't think of your boyfriend?
I read it and it says scar on neck. She's like, I just don't think you'd be right for it.
You're gonna have a scar on your neck, lady.
She's a lovely woman.
That's great, man. No, but that's good though, because she's just close enough and just far enough away from it that. Yeah. I don't know. That works out.
And
well.
I think we can help each other out.
I just want to say, and I've always you know this about me because I've said this before. In light of all the fucking bullshit that's been going on recently with like Louis and now T.J. Miller, whatever the fuck.
Every single person out there did a set. Everyone's set was about Louis.
Really?
And stuff, yeah. And I'll tell you this: none of the male comics that did sets about Louis blame him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They all think that it's not his fault.
Wow.
And they're very sympathetic to like the Harvey Weinstein situation. They just don't think that Louis
it's
should
not
be
the
put in the
same thing, dude. Yeah, it's not the same.
Matt Damon
he was
talking about that stuff. I didn't read the most recent comments, but when he was talking about how like the gist of it was that sexual harassment would basically be split up into categories,
right?
So like people don't get lumped together, like all like it was just physical. Really he was like basically like he goes, if a rapist is in the same category as like someone putting their hand on someone's ass during a picture, he goes, I think that is like ridiculous and like on and on about
and it is.
But that was a mass amount of heat. I mean, like so many people were like, these people are victims nonetheless.
Yeah, but it's
I kept going through the whole thing, and I was like, I get it, but I get what he's trying to say.
Right.
But I do feel like there's so much heat on this
scenario
right now.
You can't say anything because of the climate. But the problem is like, let's say there was no distinction between assault. So if somebody slaps somebody or somebody viciously stabs somebody until they're dead, you just go, these two guys go to prison because they're
equal.
They're both assailants.
They're both assailants.
That's it. That's all you.
You can't. Are both of them wrong? Absolutely. You know what I mean? But you can't. We can't start just lumping all of these people as okay. So Louis is a sexual predator the same way that Harvey Weinstein's a sexual predator.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Did you steal a candy bar? Or did you steal $5 million?
Right.
Like,
some things are right. Some things are worse than others. Straight up. I don't know.
And I don't think anyone's saying like excuse what he did. I think people are just saying like we can't just start throwing everybody into the same, okay, they're all sexual predators, when one guy literally raped someone and the other guy made a mistake because he used his power.
That's the only crime.
Multiple.
So many people.
That's like what you just said. That's the only crime that we don't allow there to be any type of spectrum for at all.
Not just like
there's theft and then there's grand larceny.
Yeah,
and then,
they have categories, just like every other crime.
But with the sexual assault thing, they
first degree, second degree, even like
sexual misconduct. First of all, is completely no physicality at all involved in it.
Well, that's like
and then sexual harassment is more like what he did, which was
right. Is this an urban legend? Like, yes. I don't know if it is an urban legend, but when they talk about like, if you take a piss in public, a cop can write you can be a sexual predator, whatever. What is it called?
Sex offender.
It's a sex offender.
You have to register as a sex offender.
You got to register as one. If we're taking a piss in public, which everybody has done.
I know a person.
And when I mean everybody, I'm not just saying like, only men do it. No, women squat anywhere too. Like that's not like like imagine that.
I know a person that happened to.
You do not.
He was 21 years old. He was.
If you pee near a school,
he went to.
Yeah.
He went to.
You smoke weed in a school area,
right?
Whatever.
You're a drug dealer.
This kid was 21, and there was a real long line at the bathroom at the bar, and he just stepped outside into the parking lot and pissed on the side of the building.
Yeah.
And they fucking Yeah, that sucks.
See, that's like, fuck the police. Like that's one of those moments.
He went to Iowa State. This was in Iowa.
Here's the reason why we don't.
Yeah,
this is why we don't have like the proper categories though, is because for the longest time, guys were getting away with horrific shit. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So like you couldn't even prosecute these guys because they didn't even have
getting away with some really horrific shit.
Well, yeah. So that now it's like now that they're shining a light on it. okay, and people are complaining like, well, we don't have a difference between these things. It's like it's going to be a while before we can categorize all the horrible shit that people are doing.
Oh my God!
But I feel like
I don't know. People are running amok with it though, to the point where this is what I wanted. This is what started the conversation.
Amok, I say.
This is what I wanted to say. That got this whole fucking ball rolling. Was like, people are going crazy with it now, and even guys who now, like, they have a little bit of traction when they try to use their their little bit of fame that they have, behind that little bit of momentum they have in the industry, if you will, and they try to get laid off of that. They're now like, oh, this guy's a fucking creep, like he's a predator and blah blah blah, and like, dude,
kind of crushes your dreams.
This is what I was banking on. This is what I was gonna say. Like, I've spoken to you about this before. Like, I have a rule: I will not ever date a lady comedian. It will never happen. I will not allow it. And now, like,
is that what's stopping you?
For a long time? No,
they're breaking down his door.
For a long, right. For a long time now.
He said no, ladies.
You hear that? You hear that, everyone? Corbin is not available. If you're a lady comic, just back
Don't
off.
Even try it.
Please. For a long time, though, I've been wanting to, I'm like, oh, she's really funny. Like, I would like to, maybe spend some time outside of the comedy scene with her, possibly. And I don't pull the trigger on it because of shit like this. And now that this is all happening.
Hey, they should all consider themselves lucky. They don't want to be catching feelings, ruining their career.
Just don't assault her.
They'll catch something, Joe.
Just don't assault her and they'll be fine. Right? Don't assault her.
She assaulted me. She assaulted me. You're getting that one wrong.
Yeah.
Now,
I think I don't think there's anything wrong with being like using, like, I don't know how you would use your fame, but like, let's say like a girl wanted to sleep with you because you were on a TV show.
That's what I'm talking about.
There's nothing. They're not saying there's anything wrong with that. What they're saying is, if you're on a TV show and you're like a high profile person on a TV show and you try to sleep with an intern on that TV show,
no,
then that's a problem.
That's not what happened.
I think it's more
a girl. This happened to Jamie Kilstein, a nobody dude, relatively a nobody.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Okay, he had some whatever. From his podcast. His podcast got a little bit of traction. He has fans come out to comedy shows, and this girl, she went to the show and he was he's putting it on, like, just being. It was his show. It was after his fucking show, so he had a little bit of cockiness to him or whatever, and they ended up fucking. And then her friends were like, "Yeah, like, that's totally predatory. That, like, he would sleep with a fan."
What?
Yes, dude. That's what I'm saying, dude.
Come on.
No, dude. You got to listen to the episode of
Well,
Rogan.
it's one of a weird thing. It's a weird
thing
because if you're with somebody,
well, just have them sign a confidentiality.
I know that's like actually real, but
no,
like
you like a consent thing.
Yeah.
Just have it on your phone.
They have.
Should.
You ever see that video?
Dude,
put
your fingerprint on this shit,
dude,
right?
I've been doing that for years before I was a
That's one of those things that's weird, is because, like, it must be so weird for someone that either gets famous or whatever, because I was having this discussion with my uncle one time. We were saying what's devastating about breaking up with, like, a high school girlfriend or something like that, and why you think it matters so much, or why you feel it matters so much.
Project into the future.
Well, it's just that, but if you're in your moment, and, like, it's obviously, like, it's more important to you then, over time you're like, why did I waste my time worrying about my high school girlfriend?
Right.
But the truth is, you love that person because you love them. They have nothing. They're 17, 18 years old. They don't have a job.
You don't love their car.
Have a car. They don't have anything to them. Like, it's literally, you just like them. You like hanging out with them.
And when they break up with you, they break up with you because they don't like who you are.
And that's devastating. That's like, dude, you don't like me. It's not that I didn't lose my job. I didn't like, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where, like,
you don't like me as a person.
You hate me.
That's the most romantic thing anyone's ever said on the show.
That's the most romantic
Jesus
thing.
Christ.
But that's the truth, though, because you really do feel a certain way about that person.
Also, you only know 10 girls.
Yeah, but
that's another reason.
And you're new into everything. But I'm saying, like, that's the type of, like, shit where
like the first girl that makes you go,
I spend time with you. We don't have money to go on vacations. We don't have money to do shit that'd be like a false sense of, like, this is the reason why I like you. It's quite literally
I tell the story.
I want to sit and watch a movie with you, and then you let me do things to you.
Yeah. Right. That's a great point.
I tell the story about the first BJ I got, and it was in the middle of a baseball field, and it was after my dad took us to the movies, and we watched a movie, and after the movie we snuck out and went across the street to this baseball field, and I remember the entire night just being so upset that I didn't get to have sex because I really thought we were gonna have sex in the middle of this baseball field. And this girl is absolutely beautiful, and like there were like the quarterback was after her, and like all these guys liked her, and she liked me, and I didn't understand it. And then I look back at it now, dude. I look back at it now, and I'm thinking, oh my God, can you imagine what it would take now to get a blowjob in the middle of a baseball field when I didn't have any money? Like, my dad drove us there. I'm pretty sure she bought the movie tickets.
That's a great bit.
I'm pretty sure she bought the movie tickets, and then she was nice enough to blow me outside in a baseball field. And I'm like, when am I gonna get laid? You know? I'm like, oh, what a fucking what a little. I wish I could just go back in time and thank her.
If you ever thought about the shots you've blown, and just be like, what was I doing?
Yeah.
This girl loved me and I blew it. Like, oh, I'm a man.
Dude, Kyle Plouffe has the best stories about that because he's such. He like, first of all, dude's a stud. He's like 6'2", good looking dude. He's funny. He the first time he went to go to that place to float, there was just a girl who was there. Yeah. And like he said, she was super hot. And he got out of his fucking float thing, and she was sitting there, and you hang out and have like tea and stuff afterwards. Like you sit like to just kind of like let it soak in. Okay. You don't leave right away. Right. So everyone
take a shower.
Yeah, hang out. So he said that there was this beautiful girl there, and she was like, yeah, I'm not really from the area, but she's like, I just got out of work and decided to do this. And he was like, oh, that's cool. And then she was just like, yeah, I'm really hungry. Like, there's a couple places that are still open that has like really good food. And she was like, I was thinking I was gonna go grab something to eat. And like literally just literally just setting it up for him. And he was just like, all right, cool, yeah. And she was just like, yeah, like, are you up to anything? Like, you know, she's like, I'm probably gonna go there. And he's like, no, I'm probably just gonna go home and play Xbox.
Wow.
And it's both the funniest and worst.
Yeah.
Like, no.
And he literally said, like, he looked at her like, oh, like she was like, oh, okay, well, I'll be there. And he's like, no, I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know, I'm probably like, I got this new game, I'm gonna go home. And he said it just hit him halfway home. He was like, no, like when it just didn't even occur to him.
When it hit you, the one that hit me took like 6 years for it to.
And then looking back on it, and you were like,
dude,
I was in junior high school. This girl lived around the corner from me, the street over. Beautiful. Everybody loved her. And we knew each other since we were like kids, like forever. And then I was really funny. Every time I was about to walk home, who would be right there? And it doesn't occur to you, obviously. It's just like, oh, it's just chance coincidence. She's always right here. Right when I'm about to leave, somehow we end up shoulder to shoulder by my locker walking out there. Like, the strangest thing, right?
Right.
It happens every time. Why wouldn't it? Because life's perfect. So I walk out. We get to like right with the corner where I had to turn and she had to turn, and she would like, oh, if we were just talking,
she'd be like, my parents.
She's like, you're walking home. I'm like, yeah, I'm walking home. Like, whatever. And she'd always be like, hey, I'm whatever, I'm probably going to hang out and watch whatever. Or it's just probably like TRL or some shit like that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's cool. I like TRL. I'm probably going to watch it at my house. Like, it's just, what are you doing? So I would always do that shit. And then later, I don't remember what it was, but like, I remember like one time I turned and she was sitting there, she's like, oh yeah, see you, Joe. Like, I'm going to keep going or whatever. I'm having a few people over or something. And I just remember, like, I don't remember the exact moment, but I remember just sitting there, I was thinking about it, I went, oh no, like, and then you think about all the times it happened. It happened like, I don't know how many weeks in a row before she gave up on me, like this dumb shit.
But then you
doesn't know I want him to walk me home because nobody's home, and I'm gonna let him finger me. Right. Yeah. I like didn't even know that.
But then girls are like, oh, these guys are predators. How could they not know I didn't want them? It's not that.
It's because we don't get hints. We're dumb.
We don't understand.
I don't get hints.
You can't be subtle because you just gotta come out and be like,
what? Yeah, that is the greatest thing you'd ever hear in your life. Yeah, like the greatest thing. Be like, hey, on a walk home, by the way, I'm not wearing any underwear, and I want you to feel up my dress. You'd be like, oh, okay.
But we'd probably still be like, no, that's weird. All right, see you later.
Good joke.
Right? Yeah.
No, that's. Oh man,
that's great. Now, can I tell you guys mine?
Yes.
Mine was the same way, where it hit me years later. Okay, and so this is my junior prom. This girl that I dated off and on from literally 7th grade until we left high school. Okay, and so the night of junior prom comes. We're drinking, we're smoking a ton of weed, having a great time, and we're in the middle of this party, and everyone's like. it's like we're gonna party at this kid's house and then we're gonna crash there for the night. So everyone's just fucking pulling up spots, whatever, So we're in the middle of the party still, like in the basement, but we're like on the floor, like on an air mattress or whatever, and like under a blanket, cuddling up and all that, and so it's like loud and it's getting weird or whatever, and everyone's like, we're all smoking weed and taking shots and drinking fucking Smirnoff Ice and all that shit, right? And so this girl, she's like, she goes
crazy.
She's like, it's like. She's like, it's kind of like loud in here and shit. Like, I don't really like the smoke too much, Like, she's like, we should go sleep in the garage. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean sleep? We're gonna miss the party? Like, what do you mean? Go sleep in the garage? Like, no, like you're fucking lame. Like, you trying to ruin this party for me? Like, And this is the girl who
I'm trying to make this party for you. This party's gonna be the greatest party you've ever gone to in your life. You dumb shit.
I started talking to this girl again recently, and I'm telling you, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you this. One of my biggest regrets in life is not having sex with this girl at some point.
Of course,
I swear to Christ.
You can ask any man that's attracted to women across this country. If you say, "Give me your top 5 regrets," one of those 5 is like 2 of those 5 are probably girls that we didn't fuck.
And they always have a story of like, we didn't know.
Yeah,
we just didn't get it at the time.
Dude, my father told me this story. Do you want to finish it?
No.
My father told me this story, and it was one of his "women are fucked" speeches, like just like they're nuts, Joe, like they're one of those things, bitter old man type stuff. And he was like, I was at our high school reunion. He goes, I was with your mother. Everybody knows we're together. That type of thing.
Right.
He goes, I go to the bar. This woman comes up to the bar. I haven't seen her in 15, 20 years, whatever the reunion was. Probably a 20-year reunion.
Right.
And he's like, she comes up to me. She goes, hey, Ken, like goes on this thing. And then she's like, I always had a crush on you. And he went, I'm sorry? And she went, I always had he goes, fuck you.
Right.
And she goes,
right.
Well, what do you say?
Well, why would you say it now?
Why would you tell me now? He goes, why would you tell me now? He goes,
right.
He goes, I'm here with one. And he goes on the stage, he goes, what? And he just like totally gave her one of these and walked away.
Right.
He goes, I couldn't even like look at her. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? He goes, you know what she used to do to me? This is her idea of having a crush on me. In high school, she used to call me and tell me about her boyfriend.
Yeah.
So I was always like, wow, she's really into a boyfriend. That's all we talk about on the phone.
Right.
Like, okay. And he goes, I never took a shot because she was always talking about a boyfriend.
Right.
Even if they were having problems or not, she would always go back to him. So I was like, wow, I guess she's just venting to me or whatever. And then whatever. I'm just not going to let it go. And that whole time, that was her way of telling me, I want to be with you. And I was like, yeah, I'm supposed to get that. He goes, like he lost his shit.
Right.
He even like right now, if I called him up right now, he'd probably like, oh God, out my life. He would just let it fly.
Now, all right. Before we sign off, I have to tell you guys some great advice that I got, which I'm glad that I got this advice. An older cousin told me this. Okay, and he's like, listen, he's like, girls, like when you're your age, like cheating on people. I've never cheated, full disclosure, but he's like, when you're this age, like, whatever I was, late teens or whatever. He's like, people cheat. It doesn't make you a bad person.
Whatever I was, 7.
Doesn't make you doesn't make
4.5.
He's like, it doesn't make you a bad person, dude. Like, you're probably gonna cheat on some girls. You're gonna get cheated on, whatever. But he's like, here's what you need to know though. Like, a girl, just because she has a boyfriend, and he's like, if you think she's coming on to you, he's like, you're probably right. And so one time I was telling him, I was like, this girl, like, I think she likes me, but blah blah blah. She's always talking about like her and her, what her and her boyfriend do, like sexually. He's like, dude, you're in. And I'm telling you, he's right. He's like, if she's talking about what she does with her body with men, even though it's her boyfriend, she's not thinking that's going to turn you off. Like, you're thinking like she's letting you know, like, hey, I'm taken. Like, me and my boyfriend have sex. That's not what's going on. Like, she's trying to open up that fucking, like, what, I don't know, dude. But that
line of communication.
Dude, do we have, I don't know.
That could not be more true.
Do we have time for, like, my missed opportunity?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, dude, 100%, yeah.
So when I was in college, I was looking for a place to live, and I walked into this place, and there were 2 beautiful women, and I was like, I'll take it, so I convinced my mom. I was like, I know it's so expensive, but it's right near school. I was like, I really need to live here. So these 2, I'm still friends with them to this day. These 2 beautiful girls.
You're still friends with them?
Yeah, I'm still friends with them. Now Talia's married, and Stephanie was. So I'm living with these 2 girls, Talia and Stephanie, and I don't know if they did this as a joke or whatever, but we have like I hadn't talked to them for years, and then all of a sudden they'd come to one of my comedy shows. So whenever I was living with them, I was the youngest. I was like the little brother. Like they would have like parties and stuff like that, and they would like walk around in their towels and everything. And I was just, it was always, and I was such a shy kid. I probably had like maybe 1 or 2 girlfriends.
Sounds like a lie.
Up into no, like, I probably had like 2 girlfriends in my life up until that point. Right, I'm a freshman in college, so like I'm just like my God, like I just I want to have sex with both of them at the same time. You know, that was the thing, and I was just
natural thought.
Yeah, natural thought, right? So they would like cook for me and clean and like all this different stuff, and they were amazing roommates. And then anyway, so years passed, and they're at one of my comedy shows. So then afterwards, I think it was Stephanie came up to me afterwards, and she was like, so how come we never had a 3-way? And I was like, what? And I was like, this is really cruel. I was like,
that's not nice. Dude, that's not nice.
Yeah, I was like, this isn't nice. I go, what are you talking about? And she goes, well, we cooked for you. We walked around in our towels. Like, what else do we have to do? And I was just like, I just wanted to fucking kill myself.
That is the worst.
You were like, hey, I'm available right now-ish.
Yeah.
Fucking
dude. So it's funny. Do we have time for another similar story?
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Because honest to God, that happened.
I mean, we could talk about this stuff all
night.
Seriously.
When you talk about the mecca of missed opportunities, that's way up there. But when you miss a threesome, it'll haunt your dreams.
Right, yeah, dude.
Because obviously, every man's fantasy. Everybody, or like, it's definitely up there.
Right.
Obviously. So, I was dating this girl, not serious about her at all. I was the rebound guy. I knew I was the rebound guy, and I took full advantage of being a rebound guy.
Okay.
Lived with this hot girl. She was in the same scenario. I think, honestly, the one girl broke up with the other girl just because her other friend broke up. Like, they wanted to be single together.
Right.
We all went out. We got hammered. They're both bartenders. I didn't pay for a drink for a summer. It was amazing.
Sounds great.
It was great. One of the best summers of my life. So, we get home. One of her friends is so, like, her roommate was so just annihilated. We helped her, like, carry her in. Then she starts getting hammered. She starts like mouthing off, saying stuff, and then they both like started like kidding around, like fighting. But then they both like went into her room, and they like locked me out. But they were like playing around, like locked me out. And that was one of those things. To this day, in my head, I play this like line. I go, "What are you guys making out in there?" I play that in my head like I said it because it would have worked. And it's one of those things where I was like, I will never get that back. Like, I never, like, definitely not now.
But it sounds like one of those women were blackout drunk, so I'm glad you didn't.
She wasn't that. I think it was a ploy. Dude, I was wasted too.
Yeah.
So,
there you go.
But it was one of those things where, like you said, it's like, I had that chance. And in your head, you will replay it over and over again, and you'll never get it back. And it's like one of the worst things possible. Right. Especially swinging and missing. Well, not swinging and missing. You didn't take the shot.
You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
The shot that you take and you miss, you'll always regret it because it was a shot.
Yeah, but think about the STD that you would have had.
Anything else we need to say before we go?
Yeah,
we got any shows?
We're going to get out of here, but Justin needs to plug some shit before he goes. He's got a lot going on.
So I'm out of here. I'm going to LA, but if everybody could please come out to Nick's Comedy Stop January 26th. I'm headlining. This is my farewell show. It's going to be my last show in Boston before
we will.
I head out.
Fuck
so
we will.
So tickets are online, nickscomedystop.com.
Hell yeah. And check out Justin's Green Room app also. That'll be out
coming
there.
out in like a week.
Hell yeah. Do you got a website or anything or what?
I mean, you can go to greenroom.lol.
Okay.
And it's not up and running yet, but you can see it and register and stuff like that.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. All right, dude. Thank you so much for being here,
thanks
man.
For having me, guys.
Thanks for hanging out with us for the extended stay here on Attention Deficit. All right, and thank you everyone for listening. We'll be back next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Peace out.
Later.
WEMF.